Hello, hello, Shagat the Nun here. Welcome back to Metal Gear Solid here on the 14th of January 2023 local time, 10:06. I think I got everything taken care of here. I like missed something I got it taken care of. I think we're good. So let's do a little bit of a recap. Also, how's it going, Roscoe? Good to see you here. Do a little bit of a recap on where we're at because it's been almost a week. So last time, just kind of the quick rundown of the events. We had just met up with Otacon, and we needed to meet up with Meryl because she has the key cards that we need. We meet up with her, and then we're kind of tagging along with her. She's going to help lead the way so we can get to like the hangar and everything where Metal Gear is at. She immediately gets taken over by Psycho Mantis. We fight Psycho Mantis, we win. Then, as we're continuing on, the next major thing that happens is she gets attacked by Sniper Wolf, and we have to go back and get a sniper rifle, and then when we come back, she's gone. We have the little showdown with Sniper Wolf, then we get captured. We go through some torture scenes, and in my case, we used Otacon to help us get out. He brought us some supplies. We put like ketchup under us, and we tricked the guard, and he comes in. But we went through a couple torture scenes so I could get all the dialogue, and then once that's done, we're back out, and it's like, all right, cool. We need to like keep trying to progress forward. We don't know what's up with Meryl yet, but we need to go through like these communications towers and everything because like the land is frozen over, and we can't just travel on the normal land. There's like glaciers and stuff. So we're going through these communication towers. We end up having to fight the Hind D, being piloted by Liquid, and after that, we get a little ambush in this like freight elevator. Not freight elevator. It's just like a little elevator that we're taking. These guys with stealth camo ambush us. We fight them. We're all good, right? Then we actually encounter Sniper Wolf again. We have the final showdown with her. We end up killing her, and then Otacon comes in. He's all sad because he loved her or something like that. Maybe Stockholm Syndrome, whatever it is. So he's all sad about it. And that's basically where we left off. We still don't really know what's up with Meryl. She's presumed to be alive because Sniper Wolf told her that she's still alive, or told us that she's still alive, and we don't have a real confirmation yet. The one other thing is that Miller well, not just Miller, Naomi herself was very suspicious for a while, just some of the questions that she asks, but then Miller started grilling her a little bit, and questioning some of her story, and we don't really have a follow-up on that yet, but I thought it was very interesting. It's something that we should, keep in mind. As for now, we're just moving ever closer to the hangar where Metal Gear is being housed, so let's go ahead and continue on. And this is a classic Roscoe, but it is not my favorite of the series, but it is a classic. It's a great game. Oh, what are the wolves are out here? Oh, he's just booking it. He loves it. So this is where we fought Sniper Wolf, and they're all sad because she took care of them. I think they're really they're wolf dogs. They're not just straight up wolves. That's not where Sniper Wolf died at, though. It'll be over here. Yeah, I see the blood. 7. Alright, so this is the only door I haven't gone in, I believe. Get out of there. Dude, he's adorable. This little wolf dog running around, barking and stuff. Oh, there was actually a... Yeah, we could have climbed or crawled under that. Now that screen transition I just did, that was actually where you would change the discs on the original game. Let's check in on everybody.
The entrance to the underground base is further below. There should be a cargo elevator that you can take down somewhere around there. Try to find it.
Drastically reduce the number of stockpiled nuclear weapons, it is going to become easier and easier for terrorists to get their hands on them. about both sides reducing their nuclear stockpiles to a core deterrent force of less than 500 missiles each, and declaring that there would be no nuclear counterstrike in the event of the use of conventional or chemical weapons. But talks fell through. It seems that America is unwilling to relinquish its position as the most powerful country in the world.
Your sea rations are frozen? Never eat frozen sea rats. It'll cause a temperature imbalance that'll drain your strength. Make sure you warm those seas before you eat them.
There's a cargo elevator in the northeast part of the bottom floor. You can take that to Metal Gear's underground base. You'll spot it right away. It's got a big patrol light attached to it.
And we'll follow up with Mei Ling.
You caught Snake?
Maybe she doesn't have anything new. Blast
In
furnace.
China, they say, the snake, knowing itself, strikes swiftly. It means that if you have confidence that what you are doing is part of your true nature, there should be no hesitation. I don't know whether your orders are in your true nature or not, but Snake, believe in yourself.
I'm not really going to say much on that, Roscoe, just for spoilers, but I see you. Yeah, so that I am doing the whole series, so we're gonna see everything here, and this is my Saturday, Sunday time slot, like at this time. So I don't want to like spoil things for future games and stuff. So both for the sake of this playthrough, but then also for you, if you want to see that, I'll be doing that very soon. So I don't know what that is, like ammo or something, but I didn't know this guy's path. I don't know if he's gonna turn back this way. Faked me out. Oh, it's way over. Oh. That's an interesting approach. I forgot about this thing. Alright, I want to go on this other side. I don't want to kill this guy, but it's going to take a while. So, as for the other game you mentioned, that's actually pretty far down on my list. Out of the whole franchise. It's not like I think it's bad or anything, it's just, it's probably in last place for me. Stun grenade. Alright, now I have to do this one more time. Just because I don't want to go lethal for no reason. We have the SOCOM with the suppressor on it, though. Yeah, I didn't realize that was the actual route I wanted to take over there. Now we're gonna wait just a little bit. I didn't realize this was the route I wanted to take, so I kind of messed up. Okay, so how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this thing again? Can I crouch? I can. That's all we do. How would you feel about crouching in a situation like this? Also, you gotta be careful, because that, the genome soldier there looking towards me, that enhanced vision, he might spot me. He actually would if he turns up, though. Okay, so that guy's gonna go back that way. What's your plan, dude? Oh, he's freaking out. What are you doing, man? The hell's he doing? You seeing that radar? So we know he goes down here. He was a moment ago. I'm not sure what's on the other side, though. Oh, shit. Alright, wait for it. Any rations now? Be great. Dude, I did not mean to hit that. I really didn't. What was this last one? I think we're good. Let's see what anyone has to say about this room.
Watch out for the steam. It's dangerous. Use your first-person view mode to see where the steam is coming out, and then avoid it.
Yeah, I like a sauna now and then, but this is too much.
You have a good view, though your movement is limited. It might be a good place to take out your enemy with your PSG-1.
When you're trying to hide, avoid places that look like the enemy might search. Think about how your enemy is going to move, and then sneak in there. Doesn't matter how smart you are, just use your head out there.
Are you in the boiler room? Those pipes are really old. Once in a while they blow out steam, so be careful.
You call this once in a while?
Yeah, that sounds about right for a government facility. Are we gonna hear it? No. I didn't know if people would hear it. So we have some chaff, some stingers. Alright. Let's get through. Oh! I thought it's... Oh, it did stop, but... it did 2 in a row. So there's still something over there. Looks like rations, in fact. Shit. No! Alright, I think I need to take this guy. Oh, don't fall. Alright, now that that's done, I'll just box up right here. Oh, is he going down now? He is. So it depends on where you're at. That changes his route, doesn't it? Alright, there we go. The room took way too long, but I didn't get spotted. And yeah, there's nothing else to do in here right now, so we're good. I feel like there's something in here. I feel like there are claymores in here. We can use the mine detector, actually. No, not here. This elevator just comes up when we get here. Nothing weird about that.
Metal Gear is straight down. Better move it. There's no time. The terrorists are ready to launch.
Negotiations are all finished,
The government can't cave into terrorist demands.
but they're threatening to launch a nuclear weapon.
They've made their final decision.
Why is the White House being so inflexible? Colonel, is there still something you're hiding from me?
Snake, please. Just concentrate on stopping them, okay?
That is a mine detector. It works by searching for metal objects. It will even find claymores that are hidden with optic stealth technology. It is set so that the position of the landmines will show up on your radar. All you have to do is equip the mine detector and keep an eye on your radar. Use it carefully.
War brings out the cruelty of man. No matter how the soldier was brought up, they all turn into animals when they're thrust into the heat of combat.
Yep, that's expected.
If you take that cargo elevator down, you'll wind up in Metal Gear's underground maintenance base.
So it sounds like we're pretty much where we need to be. We just called mailing. I'll hold off a little bit. It seems like we're right up to Metal Gear itself, basically.
There he is!
The hell?
Damn.
Sound like that guy had to take a dump or something. Come on. These guys are tanks. Here we go. So I put the armor on. I find it really hard to aim with the controls. It's like I played this before, but I still have some trouble with the aiming there. We're jammed, so I think there are some traps. Yeah, I hear the camera. Oh, you bastard. Might as well just pop one. Oh, that was the... Damn it, that's what I was looking for. They are down here. Dude, I am failing today. I'm doing horrible. should be safe. Just in case. I don't need the key card, but I like to leave it on. All these Corvids just flying around. Oh, he's transparent. Okay, there we go.
Snake, I've got something to tell you about Naomi Hunter.
What about her?
Is this conversation secure?
Don't worry, the monitor's off.
Okay.
What's up?
I was in the FBI too, you know.
I didn't know that. What's your point?
Dr. Hunter's story about her background, about her grandfather being an assistant secretary to Hoover in the FBI.
Yeah.
And then going undercover to investigate the mafia in New York.
Yeah, what about it?
It was all a big lie.
What did you say?
It was really bothering me. Why would she lie about it?
She lied.
She might be a spy.
Ridiculous.
Come on, even a high school student could see past it. The head of the FBI at that time, Edgar Hoover, he was a well-known racist. Didn't Naomi say that her father was Japanese?
Yeah.
Well, back then, there wasn't a single Asian investigator. Also, in the 1950s, the undercover mafia sting operations hadn't even started yet. They first started in 1960, in Chicago, not New York.
But
you better check it out. The chief and the president mysteriously dying, that ninja, too many strange things are happening.
are you saying that Naomi might be behind it?
I don't know. Either that, or she's working with the terrorists.
Could it be?
If I find out anything, I'll call. In the meantime, be careful.
So I kept making the point earlier, because Miller was unavailable for a long time. He wouldn't answer anything. I kept kind of joking around like, oh, he's digging up dirt. He's looking into this.
Colonel, where's Naomi?
I'm right here, Snake. What is it?
Oh, nothing. Forget it.
Strange.
Snake, by now those terrorists have finished their launch preparations. Stop wasting time. Snake, by now those terrorists...
There is no doubt about it. After the Cold War ended, the chance of a full-scale, worldwide nuclear conflagration was diminished. But on the other hand, the chances of local tactical use of nuclear weapons greatly increased. Civil wars, revolutions, regional disputes. It seems like there is a new war popping up somewhere every day. And many of them are the result of centuries-old hatred between different ethnic or religious groups. These people do not think rationally or logically. In such conflicts, there is no concern for the high civilian casualty rate, and international criticism means little. A nuclear deterrent is meaningless because emotions run so hot. Furthermore, unlike strategic nuclear missiles, the decision to use tactical nuclear missiles is in some cases left up to battlefield commanders. It is pretty scary. As long as nuclear weapons continue to proliferate, the chances that someone is going to use them will also continue to grow.
I want to ask you about Naomi.
I'm looking into the details now, but it doesn't look good. Weren't you ever suspicious about her, Snake? Snake, keep your guard up.
If you take that that elevator down, you'll wind up in the warehouse. Metal Gear's underground maintenance base is just past there.
Crows.
What?
There are a lot of crows here.
There were crows around from before, but for some reason they started to really increase in number around the same time that Foxhound came to the base. It's really weird. I wonder what it could mean.
A crow is a corvid, which also includes other birds like ravens and magpies and I'm forgetting one.
Mei-Ling, how's Naomi?
She's fine, I guess. What's up?
Oh.
What do you want, Snake? If you want to talk to Naomi, why don't you call her?
Oh, it's nothing. Forget about it.
Strange guy.
Yeah.
Good luck, Snake.
Yeah, crows and ravens are all and magpies and stuff, they're all very similar. They're all part of the corvid genus. Anything on the sides there? Nah. Nikita and C4. Yo, it's looking frigid in here.
Welcome, Cossack. This is the end of the road for you. Right, my friends? Listen, they agree. Ravens aren't scavengers like most people think. They're simply returning to the natural world, that which is no longer needed. Sometimes they even attack wounded foxes.
You were the one in the M1 tank? Must have been a tight fit for a big boy like you.
But that was no true battle. The Ravens and I were testing to see what kind of man you were. The judgment is decided. The Ravens say you are a true warrior.
Am I hallucinating? I can't move.
The Raven has put the mark of death upon you. Blood from the east flows within your veins. Your ancestors too were raised on the barren plains of Mongolia. Inuit and Japanese are cousins to each other. We share many ancestors, you and I
don't have any crows in my family tree.
You jest, but indeed ravens and snakes are not the best of friends. Nevertheless, you will make a worthy adversary. You live in Alaska too. You know of the World Eskimo Indian Olympics?
Yeah, I know it. Must be a real threat in the muck duck eating contest.
Yes, you are right. But there is another event that I excel at. It is called the ear pull. It is an event where two opponents pull each other's ears while enduring the harsh cold. It tests spiritual as well as physical strength.
You want to pull each other's ears?
The form is different, but the spirit is the same. Rejoice, Snake! Ours will be a glorious battle.
This isn't glorious. It's just plain killing. Violence isn't a sport.
Well, we'll see if there is iron in your words.
What's going on, Rose? Let me take care of something on the side real quick. In a couple seconds. I hope that resolves for you. I hope that's not a continued issue. I'm gonna get you on that on the drink redeem there, and we're gonna call people up. But we are fighting Vulcan Raven now.
Vulcan Raven is half Native Alaskan American and half Inuit. He was raised as a shaman, and they say he has supernatural powers. During the Cold War, he
trained in Russia with the Bimpov, the Soviet Special Forces. In 1993, he was demoted by President Yeltsin following his coup d'etat, so he fled the country and became a mercenary. After that, he joined those rent-a-war bastards at Outer Heaven, Inc. He stayed there until he joined us in Foxhound, thanks to a strong recommendation from Revolver Ocelot.
That cannon he's holding is a 20mm Vulcan gun. You usually see them mounted on fighter planes. You can't take him on in a firefight. He'll make mincemeat of you.
He's not just strong, Snake. He's a graduate emeritus from Alaska University, so he's a quick thinker, too.
In any case, you'd better not try to attack him from the front. Normal weapons are no match for his 20mm Vulcan. Try to attack him from the sides or behind.
Like Raven is holding an M61A1 20mm multi-turreted machine gun. They are usually mounted on F-16s. With its 6 rotating turrets, it can fire 4,000 20mm rounds per minute, and it is accurate too. If you come at him from the front, he'll turn you into burst.
That place is right in the middle of the permafrost. Just like the name says, it never melts. I've heard over 85% of Alaska is permafrost. It's extremely cold there, Snake. If you don't hurry, your sea rations will freeze. One way to prevent your sea rations from freezing is to hold them close to your body by equipping them.
Room is still under construction because their main priority was to finish Metal Gear's underground base. But the good thing is, with all those containers, it should be easy to hide, right?
We'll see. Let's go ahead and pop one of these. I'm gonna get my body armor on, and we're gonna explore a little bit. I'm doing okay today, thanks for asking. Oh, he's sweeping. He's sweeping around. Alright, so they keep giving us, missiles and stuff. So perhaps we want to use them. Damn it. Oh, come on! Okay, we got him once. Nope. He's getting into it. Got him. He done got. Oh, he's gonna turn. Still got him though. Should have stuck to ear pulling, bro. Ooh. So now he's starting to destroy the containers here, which is really cool for a game that came out when it did. Like 97. So he knocked an item down. If you heard it. Yeah. But that also makes the battlefield more complex. As things are being destroyed, it's harder to navigate. Uh-oh. Well, I tried. I forgot that he does this. Kind of a pain to deal with. Oh, that actually hit him? No way. No way. Crap. It's coming after me. Rations are frozen as well. So I need to equip them and let them thaw. Oh, you know what else I could do? Of course, I could put C4. Rations are good. So if I can get him over here. Oh no! Got him. It was sloppy. Oh, the other way? Come on. Go up, go up. Got him.
Just as the boss said, it is my existence which is no longer needed in this world. But my body will not remain in this place. My spirit and my flesh will become one with the ravens. In that way, I will return to Mother Earth who bore me. Snake! I will be watching you. Understand? Snake, take this security card. It will open that door.
Why?
You are a snake which was not created by nature. You and the boss. You are from another world. A world that I do not wish to know. Go and do battle with him. I will be watching from above. First, I'll give you a hint. The man who you saw die before your eyes.
What is it?
That was not the DARPA chief. It was Decoy Octopus, a member of Foxhound. He was a master of disguise. He copied his subjects down to the blood. So he drained the chief's blood and took it into himself. But he wasn't able to deceive the Angel of Death.
The Angel of Death? But why go to so much trouble? Why impersonate the chief?
That is the end of my hint. You must solve the rest of the riddle yourself. Snake, in the natural world, there's no such thing as boundless slaughter. There's always an end to it. You are different.
What are you trying to say?
The path you walk on has no end. Each step you take is paved with the corpses of your enemies. Their souls will haunt you forever. You shall have no peace. Hear me, Snake. My spirit will be watching you.
He gone. Alrighty. Yeah, let's follow up on some of that info.
It's me.
Master.
It's about Naomi. Turn your monitor off.
What about Naomi?
Colonel, is Naomi there?
No, she's away. She's taking a short nap. So what is this about Naomi?
Okay, maybe we better let the Colonel hear this too.
Yeah. Go on, Master.
Well, basically, Dr. Naomi Hunter is not Dr. Naomi Hunter at all.
What?
I thought her story of her background sounded kind of fishy, so I checked it out.
And?
There is an actual Dr. Naomi Hunter, or I should say, there was one. But she's not the woman we know. The real Naomi Hunter disappeared somewhere in the Middle East. Our Naomi must have somehow obtained her identification papers.
So then who is she really?
She must be some kind of spy.
A spy?
Yes. Maybe she's been sent to sabotage this operation.
Are you saying she's with the terrorists?
I don't want to believe it either, but she is working for Foxhound.
So you think she had a part in the uprising?
Or she could be working with some different group altogether.
Different group? It couldn't be.
Place her under arrest.
What?
She's betrayed us. She needs to be arrested and interrogated to find out who she's with.
If she's one of their spies, then we're in big trouble.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Have you let her in on some kind of vital secret or something? Does this have anything to do with the mysterious deaths of the DARPA chief and the Arms Tech president?
I have no idea.
Anyway, we cannot allow her to participate any further in this mission.
Wait a minute. Without her, we can't complete this mission.
I knew it. You were hiding something.
Give me some time. I'll try to get it out of her.
Hurry then. We've got to figure out who she is and what she's doing here.
I understand. Snake, give me some time.
I don't have any time left for you.
Okay, so basically just doubling down on what we heard earlier, adding even more to the pile of information that we have on Naomi now. Very interesting. Also, very interesting to learn about Decoy Octopus, because we've heard a few mentions of the DARPA chief in passing, and well, that just kind of added to the mystery a little bit as to what's really going on, but it also cleared some things up. That was Decoy Octopus, so we... You know, if we're kind of checking off the members of Foxhound, he's already out of the picture. We didn't even really do anything.
Snake, if it's about Naomi, I'm looking into the matter right now. Give me a little more time.
Where is she?
She's still sleeping.
I can't believe it. First, the DARPA chief turns out to be an imposter, and now Naomi. What the hell is going on here? This
suppose you're going to tell me you don't know anything, right?
I'm sorry, Snake.
A madman is threatening the world with a nuclear weapon. I guess that's what I should worry about now.
You found body armor. It will lower the damage you take from gunfire. It is designed to prevent bullets from penetrating, but you will still feel the impact from the bullets. Don't rely on it too much.
Snake, I'm sure that woman calling herself Naomi is some type of spy. And now I'm starting to think that Campbell might be hiding something too. Don't trust him.
I don't know anything about Dr. Naomi, so there's not much I can say. But Snake, I think you'd better leave that to Colonel Campbell. Don't you think you'd better just get to the control room? Naomi wasn't acting strangely or anything?
No, I just can't believe that Naomi is an enemy spy. I refuse to accept that.
I don't want to believe it either, but...
Don't say it, Snake.
Alright, so let's look around here. I think we have a 7 now. We have a level 7 card. We saw a 7 door. I'm gonna go back there in a little bit. If this were me playing for the first time, I would probably head back right now, but I know I'm gonna want to go back there in a bit, or at least close enough to it. Which is kind of spoilery, I guess I shouldn't even say that. So he died at the bottom of the screen here. Interesting. I thought he died next to the route we're supposed to take. That's a lot of cameras. That's too many cameras. Come on, guys. Fake floors. Dude, they're literally just lining the walls. That's stupid. Why would anyone do that? We'll save that room for a moment. Yeah, I'll see you when you get back. I normally go for 4 hours. Unless there's a reason to stop earlier or something. Why would you put so many cameras? That's just ridiculous. Alright. Could that be Metal Gear? Hold on, I got it.
Metal Gear.
Snake, stop that launch. Head for the control room in the underground base. Give Dr. Emmerich a call. There's no time.
That stuff that is flowing in those ditches on the first floor must be radioactive nuclear wastewater. You better stay away from it. You are already exposed enough just by being in that area. Any further exposure could be fatal. That place does not have a nuclear processing facility. It must be some other kind of nuclear material that is leaking, besides the dismantled nuclear warheads. Probably spent nuclear fuel or something.
Snake, isn't the detonation code input system in the control room? Hurry up and get in there.
It looks like they finished getting Metal Gear ready.
How do you know that?
I overheard them talking. Where are you now?
Right in front of Metal Gear, but it's strange.
What is?
There's nobody here. No cards. Nobody patrolling. It's too quiet.
Maybe because they're all ready. They said they even input the PAL codes.
What should I do?
All we can do is use the override system that President Baker told you about.
But I've only got one of the 3 keys, and besides that, like Ocelot said, there's some trick to using the keys.
Leave it to me.
You got some kind of plan?
Well, I'm in the computer room right now. I'm trying to access Baker's private files.
Baker's files? Don't you need a password?
Of course, but there are ways.
Are you a hacker?
Yup, that describes me pretty well.
Does it look like you can get in?
I don't know yet. I'll give it a try.
I'm counting on you.
Hacker man.
What's up, Snake? Snake, Leo DeRocher said, win any way you can. Nice guys finish last. What about you, Snake? Is that what you think? Is there anything that you wouldn't do to stay alive? You should think about that, Snake.
Alrighty, let's look around a little bit. So we could actually go into this stuff that we were told not to go into. We got a camera down here too. Is there an item down here? No. That actually startled me a bit. Okay, I was like, that looks really small, but it also looks like something you could crawl through. Yes, there's nothing to do up here. Just go for it. Love this music. Chaff. Tells me there's probably something worth chaffing around here. Look at this, this is so cool. Just walking around it.
Snake, it's me again.
How's it going?
Not bad. I just got past his 3rd security level. He was a pretty careful guy.
Do you think you'll break in soon?
I never met a system I couldn't bust into.
Okay, keep trying.
I feel like there is a dude up here. Bunch of items this way, I don't see anything else. Oh, what do we... Oh, hold up. Hello! Ocelot and Liquid. I really feel like I should put my thermals on and check this area, but I'm being lazy. So someone heard me, but also he just immediately gave up. Where was he? I quote that all the time, by the way. Huh? What was that noise? Huh? Whose footprints are these? It's just the 2 of them.
Snake, I did it!
You got past security?
Bingo!
Great. So what do you got?
I accessed the confidential Metal Gear file.
So what about the PAL override system that Baker talked about?
I haven't found it yet.
That's what I need to know.
But Snake, I found something else.
What?
The secret behind the new nuclear weapon. Just as I thought, the nuclear warhead is designed to be fired from the railgun like a projectile. It doesn't use fuel, so it isn't considered a missile. That way it can get around all sorts of international treaties.
Pretty sneaky.
Yes, but effective. And that's not even the scariest thing about this weapon.
I can't wait to hear this.
It's a stealth weapon.
You mean it won't show up on radar?
Yeah. The truth is, they've been working on a stealth missile since the late 70s.
Why weren't they able to develop one until now?
Because of the missile rocket propulsion system, it would be picked up by enemy satellites.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
But unlike a missile, the railgun doesn't burn any propellant, so it can't be detected by any current ballistic missile detection systems.
An invisible nuclear warhead.
Totally impossible to intercept. And on top of that, it's got a surface-piercing warhead designed to penetrate hardened underground bases.
Yeah, we learned that lesson in the Gulf War.
This thing could mean the end of the world.
It's the ultimate weapon. And from a political point of view, it avoids the problem of nuclear reduction and nuclear inspections. Colonel, is this true? Are you listening?
I'm listening.
If word of this got out, it could delay the signing of the START 3 treaty and cause a huge international incident.
Yeah, it would be nasty. The United States would be denounced by the UN. It could even bring the president down.
Did you know this, Colonel?
I'm sorry.
You've changed, Colonel.
I won't make any excuses.
Snake, listen to me. This new nuclear weapon, it's never actually been tested, only simulated.
You mean they ran a computer model?
Yeah, that's why they were conducting this exercise. They needed to get actual experimental data to back up the simulation.
What were the results of the exercise?
It looks like it went better than they hoped for, but I can't find the data anywhere on this network. You'd think the data as important as that would be carefully recorded.
It was. President Baker gave me an optical disc with all of the test data.
What? Do you still have it?
No, Ocelot took it from me.
The terrorists have replaced the dummy warhead with a real warhead. Once they input the detonation codes, they should be ready to launch.
So you think they can do it?
Well, the dummy warhead was designed to be identical to the real thing, so I think so.
Did you find out how to override it yet?
Not yet. It must be in a separate file. Right now I'm looking through all of Baker's personal files.
We're counting on you.
All right, that sounds nice and fun, doesn't it? Also, thank you for that follow a few minutes ago, SSA. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing all right.
It was on the 3rd floor of the underground base, isn't it?
Ironically, the policy of nuclear deterrence has prevented the elimination of nuclear weapons. The entire basis for determining them to be illegal has been undermined by this military policy. In other words, nuclear weapons cannot be declared illegal because we have an entrenched policy which makes them legal ipso facto.
Snake, isn't the detonation code input system in the control room? Hurry up and get in there.
Yeah, we already heard that. That's not new. We just talked to you, but...
How about it? Did you find the override system file?
Not yet. I need a little more time. Well, I found lots of information about that new nuclear weapon. There are 4 stages involved in launching a ballistic missile. The first one is the boost stage. It starts at the point the missile is launched and ends after all the rocket fuel is burned and the missile is propelled into the exosphere. The next stage is the post-boost stage. It starts after all the fuel is burned and ends after the re-entry vehicle is ejected. Next is the intermediate course stage. It takes place after the re-entry vehicle is ejected and lasts until the missile enters the exosphere. Then comes the final stage. It starts when the re-entry vehicle enters the exosphere, and it lasts until it reaches its ultimate target on the ground. Missile defense systems use military satellites to detect rocket emissions during the initial boost stage of a missile. But this new nuclear weapon employs the railgun's ability to fire projectiles at ultra-high velocities instead of using a rocket. That's why it can't be detected by today's missile defense systems. And on top of that, the re-entry vehicle also uses stealth technology. It's so accurate that its 50% zone comes close to 50 meters. That's as good as the best ICBM.
A highly accurate, undetectable, uninterceptable nuclear weapon. We wouldn't even be able to tell where it came from.
And that's not all. A standard ballistic missile uses a 2-stage or a 3-stage solid fuel rocket for its propulsion system. Besides costing lots of money, safely maintaining the solid rocket fuel and readying the missile for launch requires a lot of work. But a railgun-launched nuclear warhead avoids all of those problems. And it's cheap, too.
It's the perfect nuke. A general's dream.
And the world's nightmare.
So a lot of that was very interesting for me. I didn't appreciate that as a kid, as like it sounds cool and all, but now having, you know, one of my previous jobs, having worked in the defense industry a bit and learned about some of that for real, it's very interesting, I could say.
What can I do for you, Snake? Snake, don't give up. Remember Macbeth Act 5, Scene 3. I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor. Everyone is counting on you, Snake. You've got to do it.
There's a lot of interesting discussion there, though, about just how the missiles actually work and everything. There is a dude. I thought there was. I know I remembered at least one. This is gonna be a pain, isn't it? Because I can't really see him. Son of a bitch, why?
Snake,
Did you find it?
no. I haven't found out about the override system yet, but I found Baker's ulterior motive.
He's just looking to get rich, isn't he?
Arms Tech is in much worse financial trouble than I thought.
I know they lost their bid to make the next generation fighter jet. That plus the reduction in SDI spending.
It looks like there was even some talk of a hostile takeover.
Everything was riding on this project, I guess.
It looks like we were paying a lot of bribe money to the DARPA chief.
Bribe money, huh?
Yeah, and Baker was a big proponent of the nuclear deterrent theory.
I see. So anyway, what about the override?
Just give me a little bit longer.
Yo, they're just right there. No! Oh my god, dude. I like how Ocelot and Liquid are just... they don't even know.
Where'd he go?
Son of a bitch. Alright, we're gonna let this guy cross. Yeah, don't kick it this time. I always hated this little section here. Very hard to get past him without attacking.
Okay, I've entered the PAL codes and disengaged the safety device. We can launch anytime.
There's still no response from Washington. It looks like we'll have to show them that we mean business.
Should I set it for Cherniton, Russia?
No. There's been a change. The new target is Lopnor, China.
Why, boss?
I'm sure neither you nor Mr. Golukovich would really like to see a nuclear bomb dropped on your motherland, right?
Liquid. But why? There's nothing there.
Wrong. It's a nuclear test site.
A nuclear test site?
If we nuke a major population center, the game's over. But a nuclear explosion at a test site can still be concealed from the public. Meanwhile, Washington will be worried about the retaliatory strike from China.
That'll probably mean top-secret talks between both countries' leaders.
Of course. And in the process, the president will be forced to divulge the existence of a new and highly destabilizing nuclear weapon to the Chinese. What do you think that will do to the US's reputation? Or the president's?
And with the CTBT, that means that China and India. I see.
Yes. When the other countries hear about this new weapon, they'll all want to contact us. Washington won't be very happy when we start selling their own system to the highest bidders. Yes, the president will break. He will give in to our demands.
Big Boss's DNA and $1 billion. $1 billion?
That money will be used to cure our genome soldiers as well. I'm also including the FoxDie vaccine in our demands.
FoxDie. It killed Octopus and the Armstech president. So it's true that it affects older people first. Mantis might not have been affected because he wore a mask.
Wolf wasn't infected either. Perhaps due to those tranquilizers she always took.
Something to do with the adrenaline level in the blood. Or maybe it's just because this FoxDie was still experimental and they haven't worked out all the bugs yet.
In any case, have you heard from your friend, Colonel Sergei Golukovich, at the Spetsnaz?
He still has doubts about the ability of Metal Gear. He said we can talk after Metal Gear's test launch is successful.
He's a very prudent man.
There's nothing to worry about. The Colonel wants Metal Gear and a new nuclear weapon so bad he can taste it. If Russia wants to regain its position as a military superpower, they need to reinforce their nuclear arsenal. They need a nuclear weapon that can't be intercepted. Metal Gear will allow them to gain first strike capability over the rest of the world.
Their regular army is in shambles, and they think they can restore their country's military power with nuclear weapons? Golukovich, he's no warrior. He's a politician.
But he's the one who gave us the Hind and most of our other heavy firepower.
He's got over 1,000 soldiers under his command. If we join forces, we could put up quite a resistance here. Since Mantis died, the genome soldiers' brainwashing has started to wear off. I'm worried about the men's morale. An alliance with the Russians would boost that as well.
What are you saying?
We're not going anywhere. We're going to dig in here.
We could still escape.
We've got the most powerful weapon ever made, and we're about to ally with Golukovich's forces.
Are you going to fight the whole world?
And what's wrong with that? We can launch a nuclear warhead at any target on this planet. A nuclear warhead invisible to radar. And on top of that, this base is full of spare nuclear warheads. Once we get the DNA and the money, the world will be ours.
What about your promise to Colonel Golukovich?
I have no interest in the revival of Mother Russia.
You're not thinking of reviving Big Boss's dream.
From today, call this place Outer Heaven.
Big Boss's dream.
But boss, you're not worried about the PAL being overridden. If the code is in it again, it'll be deactivated.
No need to worry. The DARPA chief and the Armstech president are both dead.
Does Snake know how the override system works?
You interrogated him, don't you know?
He didn't have any keys on him.
Good. Then no one can stop Metal Gear now.
By the way, what should we do with that woman? Want me to kill her?
Let her live. She's Campbell's niece, and Snake cares for her. We'll keep her as our ace in the hole.
Meryl, she's alive.
Snake, I found Baker's top secret files.
Great job.
How's it going there?
They've finished inputting the PAL codes. So how do we deactivate them?
Okay, you see the override system that the President was talking about? It can also be used to input the detonation codes. You see, if you insert the keys when the warhead is active, you deactivate it. And if you insert them when it's inactive, it becomes activated. And you can only use the keys once.
Only once, huh?
Yeah, you better get started. We don't have much time.
But it takes 3 keys, right? I've only got one of them.
Hold on a minute. You see, that's the trick. You already have all 3 keys.
What are you talking about?
The card key is made of a shape memory alloy.
Shape memory alloy?
Yes. It's a material that changes shape at different temperatures. The key is made out of it.
This card key?
Yeah. The card key changes shape at different temperatures.
So this key is actually 3 keys in one. Clever.
Can you see the input terminals in the center of the control room?
I see them.
Those 3 laptop terminals are for the emergency input. There should be a symbol on each screen. Each symbol corresponds to a different key. Input the keys in order from left to right. The left one's for the room temperature key. See the symbol? Next to that goes the low temperature key. The one on the right is the high temperature key.
Okay, I got it. First, I change the shape of the card, and then I input them in order, right?
That's right. All you do is insert the card keys. After you insert the key into the module, a hard disk reads the information contained on it. Once you've finished with all 3 terminals, the code input process is complete. But here's the thing. You can only use the key 3 times. It's an emergency system. It's only meant to be used once.
The world is riding on that key, Snake.
Who's that?
Damn! The key fell in the drainage ditch.
Snake, this is bulletproof glass. There's no way in. I'll enjoy watching you die.
Snake, you've got to get that key.
Okay, but there's a lot of fun stuff that just happened there, isn't there? We have mention of Outer Heaven, which is pretty big, right? You know, reviving Big Boss's dream, essentially. So that's come up. There's a lot of talk about FoxDie there, which we haven't heard about yet. But they're saying it actually killed, like the, Baker. And did they also say that it killed, Octopus? Is that what we're talking about with the heart attack symptoms that we've seen before? So there's some thoughts there. There's some stuff to think about, dwell on. It made it pretty obvious that we were showing up on that screen early on, and it looked like they saw us initially, but then out of nowhere, you know, we get a very quick response where they shot at us, so that was interesting. Shape memory alloy key, which is kind of a cool thing. It is a real technology. Shape memory alloys are real. A lot of people thought this was kind of goofy. Yeah, so we're in the drainage ditch. We gotta find the key.
Find that key. It fell somewhere in that drainage ditch. Use your mine detector.
Mine detector?
Yes, the mine detector works just like a metal detector. The position of the card key should show up on your radar screen.
We learned a lot more about their desires and everything too.
There is a big difference between conventional weapons and weapons of mass destruction. Conventional weapons are intended for use against military targets, but nuclear weapons are used against non-combatants. Nukes are designed to kill tens of thousands of innocent civilians in a flash. That is why nuclear weapons are so evil.
You lost the key? Hurry up and find it. They've that launch is to lock the system by re-inputting the detonation codes. If you use the mine detector, you should be able to find the key, even if it fell into the drainage ditch. Whatever you do, find that key.
Oh, we did get a confirmation that Meryl is alive. We had heard that before, but we got a reconfirmation on it.
The terrorists are finished inputting the detonation codes. The only way to stop the launch now is to re-input the detonation codes to lock the detonation mechanism. You need that key to do it. Find that key, Snake. There's no other way.
What can I do for you, Snake? War he sung is toil and trouble, honor but an empty bubble. What about you, Snake? Is your honor just an empty bubble too?
Alright, mine detector it is. Let's go. I don't remember where it's actually at. Ration's good. Dude, that barely hurts us. It's not that bad at all, is it? Is this it? Bomb? Huh.
Snake, did you find the key?
No, it's not here.
Don't be ridiculous. You saw it fall into the drainage ditch, didn't you? The drainage ditch. Isn't there something odd about it?
No. There are a lot of big rats, though.
That's it, Snake. A rat must have eaten it.
Now who's being ridiculous?
No, I'm right. There's no other possibility. Rats eat all sorts of things. There's nothing unusual about that.
What was that bomb doing down here, though? This is the reason I didn't come down here earlier, because I knew I was going to have another opportunity. We have something right there. Crap. Alright, where would it be? What am I seeing up here? Hey, go up. Someone's running around a lot up here. Oh, that was maybe the rat. Oh, I think I see. I genuinely didn't quite remember how this part goes. It's been a while. I knew it was down here, but I didn't quite remember how to get to it. But no, there was something running around on the map very fast. Seems like it could have been a rat that had eaten it or something. Oh wait, is this... Yeah, look at it right there. Oh, you little bastard. What can I maybe do? Let's call around.
Snake, a rat ate that key. You'll have to get it back. Follow the rat's route.
Snake, get that card key back from the rat. Why don't you watch its route and set up a trap for it with a C4 or something?
Okay, so you just want me to blow it up. Okay. So we could put it here. We know the rat shows up here. And that's why there were these vents that I couldn't go through earlier. Come on. Got it. Alright, we got the PAL key. So it's in the room temp version right now. And we need to try to get back up there and input it. And then we need to do cold next, and then hot last. Room temp is, of course, the easy one. It's such an interesting but strange system. Again, these are, like, this technology is real to have a shape memory alloy. Probably can't do something quite as crazy with it as we're seeing here, but it is a real thing. I just know he's going to be a problem. Cameras everywhere. I don't need a ration right now. No, wrong one. Dude, my chaff. Dude, stop. Oh my god, that's annoying. Dude, I'm not... Skip. I'm not... Unequip that thing. Move away from it. There. Ha! Yep. I don't have time to deal with him. Alright, so let's go freeze this bad boy now. I might just start killing that guy. Couple SOCOM shots ought to do the trick. I do try to avoid a lot of lethal stuff. I don't think it's as big of a deal in this game. It's a little bit harder to do full non-lethal. I mean, it's kind of impossible. There's some points where you have to kill. You don't have a non-lethal alternative. Unless I'm just not aware of something. I forgot about those. Alright, so now we can hang out in here for a little bit because it's really cold, right? So we'll just run around and look for possible items or something. And now this is hearkening back to what I mentioned before, where I can go back for that level 7 door, because we're gonna have to get back and heat the key up, and we only know of one place that's hot, right? That boiler room area where we were getting steam vents and stuff. So that's all the way back like one screen or so before or after the area where that level 7 door was at in the Sniper Wolf arena. So we'll just go back there, we'll check out all the rooms because some of that stuff may have respawned, and then we'll be good to go. Welcome back. So we have the cold key now. We'll let it sit for a moment longer. And I always get nervous about this, like, do I have enough time to make it back?
The card key changed shape. Hurry up to the control room, Snake.
Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. That is why the world must never forget Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
The key changed shape. Hurry to the control room and input it.
Snake, it looks like you changed the card key's shape correctly. Go and put it into the middle terminal in the control room before it warms up and changes back to its original shape. That key is actually an IC card. Its connector pins and main body are made of a shape memory alloy. It's designed so that unless it's been changed to the correct shape, it won't be recognized by the PAL code input terminal in the control room, and the detonation code won't be entered.
What can I do for you, Snake?
You can save my game.
Snake, come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day. We're almost out of time, Snake. Please hurry. You're the only one who can stop them from launching that nuke.
Cool. I got you on that hydrate, by the way. I just did it. We're good now? Oh, right. I wanted the chaff out, actually. Because of this room. Now we gotta get all the way back up here. Yeah, I think you can fail, like, if you take too long. And the one that worries me the most is the hotkey, because you have to go back through that Vulcan Raven room. So it's like, you just gotta book it through there. I don't remember if I've really failed in the past or not, but I just worry about it. As for this guy... No? Wait, what? Oh my god. That was annoying. You just leave me alone. They won't follow me here. Come on.
Okay, there goes PAL code number 2. Next comes PAL number 3. Warm the key.
Alright, let's try to get through here again. I don't know how that doesn't spot me. Alright, can we try this again? Can we do a better job this time? There we go. I just don't want to deal with that. Alright, let's go warm the key, and then we'll be done. Let's come back. I completely forgot about the rat eating the key. That's just completely, it slipped my mind. It's been so long since I've done this. I thought it was just sitting in the drainage ditch, but I kind of remember the bomb now once that happened. But I really have no memory of the rat. We'll call everyone in a moment. You know, I think I could actually use that. And more chaff, I love it. Yo, why are guards in here now? They know. Oh, and Vulcan Raven's body is gone. Okay, I don't trust anything here, so we're gonna put on the thermal G's. Is there something over here? A Nikita missile, beautiful. Some C4. Gotta get all the good stuff. We have that room up here with the claymores. And it had a camera earlier, so we're gonna need chaff. We'll wait. We might get a call on the elevator, because we did last time. Otherwise, I'll call everyone after we ride the elevator. Ah, there we go.
Snake, it's about Naomi Hunter.
Again.
Then you should talk to the Colonel. He's looking into it.
Turn your monitor off.
Okay, it's off. No one else can hear us. Go ahead.
Sorry, but I didn't want the Colonel to hear.
Okay, so what's up?
I've got a good friend in the Pentagon.
Yeah?
He's the one who told me about it. It looks like the DIA recently developed a new type of assassination weapon.
An assassination weapon?
Snake, have you ever heard of something called FoxDie?
No. FoxDie. Liquid and the others were talking about it.
Yeah. It's some kind of virus that targets specific people. I don't know all the details, but...
What are you trying to say?
It's too similar.
What is?
The cause of death. Didn't the Arms Tech president and the DARPA chief, I mean, Decoy Octopus, die of something that looked like a heart attack?
Yeah.
Well, apparently FoxDie kills its victims by simulating a heart attack.
No. You're telling me that Naomi was behind it?
Snake, try to remember. Did Naomi give you some kind of injection?
The nanomachines.
She was in the best position to have done it, but I don't know what her motive was.
Does the Colonel know?
I'm not sure. But he still hasn't questioned her.
Okay, I'll ask him myself. Colonel, what's new with the Naomi situation?
I just placed Naomi under arrest.
Arrest?
She was sending coded messages towards the Alaskan base. I didn't want to believe it, but she must be working with the terrorists.
Are you sure?
I'm afraid so. She's being interrogated now.
What kind of interrogation?
Well, I'd like to avoid the rough stuff, but we don't even have any sodium pentothal here.
Call me if you find out anything.
So it's true, isn't it?
Naomi, I can't believe it.
That means the FoxDie vaccine must be around somewhere.
Listen, I've got bigger things to worry about.
But Snake, you might be infected too, you know.
All I can do is leave it up to the Colonel.
Well, let's follow up on all that.
Now you've got to warm the key up. Find someplace hot.
What about Naomi?
Sorry, Snake. I'm still investigating.
I cannot believe it. Dr. Naomi working with the terrorists?
I don't want to believe it either.
But if what Campbell says is true...
I know. Nastasha, have you ever heard of FoxDie?
FoxDie? No, sorry. I never heard of it.
Oh, well, forget about it.
So Naomi's a spy, just like I thought. Campbell is hiding something too. But that's okay. FoxDie is a virus, a biological weapon. There must be a vaccine. We can worry about getting that later, Snake. But right now, you've got to focus on re-inputting those detonation codes, okay?
Naomi's an enemy spy? I can't believe it.
I don't want to believe it either, but...
Snake, leave it to Colonel Campbell. You've got to concentrate on re-inputting that detonation code.
You're right.
What can I do for you, Snake? Snake, don't give up. Remember Macbeth Act 5, Scene 3. I'll fight till from my bones my flesh
We heard
be
this.
hacked. Give me my armor. Everyone is counting on you, Snake. You've got to do it.
I was like, is it a different Macbeth quote? No, we've heard that. No, so Naomi is... She hasn't been talking in a while. She has a little bit of almost like an English accent. Not too... Like, not very strong, though. Nastasha's the one with the Russian accent. She's Ukrainian, actually. I don't want to chaff. I want to make sure no new mines are here to get me. Alright, I guess not. I tried. I guess I could just walk under it, but I want to have freedom to look around and stuff for a few moments. So, Miller's been doing a lot of work on Naomi, and she's been really suspicious for a long time. It's like, we've had those suspicions planted a long time ago. He's the one that, like, she's been asking weird questions and stuff, and that's always kind of weird, but he's the one that started really digging into it and calling her out on her backstory and then investigating it and being like, yo, that backstory is all fake. Alright, so now we're back up to the boiler room thing, so we can make the key hot. But before I do that, I want to go up back to where the sniper wolf fight was at and check out the level 7 door. I don't trust this room. I'm being lazy, but I don't trust it. Oh, hello. This part's difficult. Ah, they got me. Oof. So I'm not free to just go right up there immediately. I was being a bit lazy about it. But they will catch me if I do that. Now they're going the other way, we're good. Very, very tight window there, though. And in this... Like I said, this part is difficult. Because you gotta make sure that thing goes past. No, it's all good. Completely understand. Oh, that's it. Because you let that thing hit you, it knocks you down. Oh, come on. I didn't notice it until, like, right before it happened. And there's your meme, right? There's the classic meme. That's what I was looking for. I do want to go back there. It's just a pain to navigate around this. Oh! I'm terrible all of a sudden. What I was gonna say is I want to get through this, like, really quickly. So I can wait there in a safe spot. And then I just get hit by it. It seems like it's on a different pattern every time. Because if I wait here for this guy to start moving left... The other time I did it, I had plenty of time to go almost all the way across. This last time, I barely had any time. So we just need to wait on this, like, both of these things to kind of be in sync. I just need to wait. Okay, he's moving away. A little bit. Go back over me now. There we are. Stop getting my flesh melted off. Well, that's one way to warm the card up, though, right? Oh, no! My stats are busted now. All my stats are jacked up for the end of the game. We have so many alerts. Alrighty, so back here, we had this 7 door that we never checked out. Am I gonna get blown up? It's just stingers. That's pretty disappointing. But I'm gonna go ahead and take this as an opportunity to check these other rooms again. Because most of the items will have respawned and I'll get blown up. Thermal. Hey, little puppy. Don't come in here, you'll get blown up too. You're awesome. Dogs are cool, but I can't have you follow me in here. Should I be lazy? A little bit. Just seems like the thing to do to stock up on everything. Chaff, beautiful. That's 6 chaff. I'm going to be using a few of them here. Another ration. Might as well take it. I don't know if we're going to be backtracking this far anymore. Two rations would be good if I needed them, but I don't. And I don't need those. So that was a disappointing backtrack, but it's okay. I don't see how you do this without a chaff, without getting spotted. This camera will just see you. Alright, so let's come back in here. Let's navigate back across this thing. Now, while we're in here, the card is going to be heating up. So, even though it's a slow process, we are heating the card up. We're getting it into the state it needs to be in. Yep, don't stand up now. That dude almost saw me. Now this guy goes down the stairs. We have a little bit of time. I will box myself up, just in case. But I think we're good. He's gonna turn back. He didn't. Ooh, that's really close. I don't want to climb over that again. Let's not do that. Alright, so how's the PAL card looking? Wherever it's at. PAL key. Alright, so see, it's red. It's hot. It's good to go. We'll call people. We'll save.
You did it! That's the last one. Hurry to the control room.
You have a good view, though your movement.
We heard that last time we were in here.
The key changed shape.
Hurry to the control room. That's the last key.
Master, I've never heard you so excited.
Yeah. Nah, Miller's good though.
Looks like you changed the shape correctly. The last card key goes in the far right terminal in the control room. But be careful. If you're in a cold place for too long, it'll change back to its original shape. You need to hurry.
So is Otacon, but like, so Otacon, he's good because he's kind of helping us out in the middle of the operation. Like we found him here, and he's like, "Yo, I didn't know it was gonna be launching nukes. Let's, you know, kind of cool this thing down." Miller wasn't even supposed to be a part of this.
What is it, Snake?
He's just like, "Yo, I heard you're in Alaska. I'm gonna help you out."
War, he sung, is toil and trouble.
We heard this.
Honor but an empty bubble. What about you, Snake? Is your honor just an empty bubble too?
In before new explosives are here. That's something they do in this game. They pick the goofiest times to put claymores around. And I remember some of them, and I've forgotten some of them because they've caught me off guard. So basically, I just need to book it as fast as I can, back all the way to the Metal Gear hangar with this warm key card and hope it doesn't change. If it does, I'm gonna load the game. I thought I could sneak under it. I thought I could go this way and not get spotted by it. Like if I stayed close to the wall. I'm glad those don't trigger alerts, the gun cameras. That's at least one nice thing. Now, maybe we get a call, maybe we don't. Gotta run through the cold room, not get spotted. It didn't look difficult last time. I literally ran through last time without a problem.
Snake, can you hear me?
Yeah, Naomi.
It's Naomi.
Naomi? What the hell?
Campbell and the others are busy right now. I'm on a different codec.
Naomi, is what the Colonel says true?
Yes, but not everything I said was a lie.
Who are you?
I don't know myself. I don't know my real name or even what my parents looked like. I bought all my identification, but my reason for getting into genetics was true.
'Cause you want to know yourself, right?
That's right. I want to know where I came from, my age, my race, anything.
Naomi.
I was found in Rhodesia sometime in the 80s, a dirty little orphan.
Rhodesia? What's now known as Zimbabwe?
Yes. Rhodesia was owned by England until 1965, and there were lots of Indian laborers around. That's probably where I got my skin color from, but I'm not even sure about that.
Naomi, you're too worried about the past. Isn't it enough to understand who you are now?
Understand who I am now? Why should I? No one else tries to understand me. I was alone for so long, until I met my big brother, and him.
Your big brother?
Yes. Frank Yeager.
What?
He was a young soldier when he picked me up near the Zambezi River. I was half dead from starvation, and he shared his rations with me. Yes, Frank Yeager. The man who you destroyed was my brother and my only family.
No. Gray Fox?
We survived that hell together, Frank and I. He protected me. He's my one connection. The only connection I have to my past.
And he brought you back to America?
No. I was in Mozambique when he came.
Who is he? You mean Big Boss?
Yes. He brought us to this land of freedom, this America. And then he and my brother went back to Africa to continue the war. And that's when it happened. You killed my benefactor and sent my brother home a cripple. I vowed revenge and joined Foxhound. I knew it was my best chance to meet you, and I prayed for the day that I would.
So, were your prayers answered?
Yes. I waited 2 long years.
To kill me? Is that all you cared about?
Yes. That's right. 2 years. You were all I thought about for 2 long years. Like some kind of twisted obsession.
Do you still hate me?
Not exactly. I was partly wrong about you.
What about Liquid and the others?
I'll have my revenge on them too.
Naomi, you didn't kill that doctor too, did you? The one that used Gray Fox for his genome experiments?
Dr. Clark? No. That was my brother. Afterwards, I covered it up and helped him hide out.
So that ninja, I mean Gray Fox, he's come here to kill me?
I don't think so. I think he just came here to fight you. I wasn't sure before, but now I think I understand. A final battle with you. That's all he lives for. I'm sure of it.
Fox? No. Naomi, tell me something.
About FoxDie? FoxDie is a type of retrovirus that targets and kills only specific people. First, it infects the macrophages in the victim's body. FoxDie contains smart enzymes created through protein engineering. They're programmed to respond to specific genetic patterns in the cells.
Those enzymes recognize the target's DNA?
Right. They respond by becoming active and using the macrophages. They begin creating TNF-epsilon.
Huh?
It's a type of cytokine, a peptide which causes cells to die. The TNF-epsilon is carried along the bloodstream to the heart, where they attach to the TNF receptors in the heart cells.
And then they cause a heart attack?
The heart cells suffer a shock and undergo an extreme apoptosis. Then, the victim dies.
Apoptosis? You mean the heart cells commit suicide? Naomi.
What?
You must have programmed that thing to kill me too, right? Do I still have time? Naomi, I don't blame you for wanting me dead, but I can't go yet. I still have a job to do.
Listen, Snake. I'm not the one who made the decision to use FoxDie.
Huh? You weren't?
You were injected with FoxDie as a part of this operation. I just wanted to let you know that. No, that's not the whole truth. The real thing I wanted to tell you was... Snake,
Hey, what are you doing?
Snake.
Naomi!
Snake, I can't allow Naomi to make any more unauthorized transmissions.
What?
Naomi's been removed from this operation.
What happened to Naomi? What did she mean when she said that FoxDie was a part of this operation? Colonel, let me talk to her.
I won't. She's under arrest.
Colonel, you double-crossed me.
Snake, there's no time for that. Right now, your job is to stop Metal Gear. Okay, Snake?
Okay, so first, it's been staring us in the face all along, if we remember who Gray Fox is. Frank Jaeger. Jaeger is a German word that means the same thing as hunter. Naomi, hunter. It's kind of been staring us in the face all along, but I don't know how many people actually catch that. It took me years to catch it because I didn't start learning German until many, many years after I played this game. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That's a really cool little thing that they did there with that. If she, let's forego everything else for a moment and say, if she's to be believed, she did want her revenge. You know, she was mad at us for killing Frank Jaeger. She was mad at us for killing Big Boss, her benefactor as she described him. And she wanted revenge. But if she's to be believed, she did not make the decision to use FoxDie here. So we were injected with FoxDie from someone else's whims without our knowledge. We are a vessel, we are a vector, rather, for this virus that's targeting people. It's kind of messed up that they do that without telling him, and we saw it at the very beginning of the game. When we first meet Naomi, she walks in and just stabs him in the arm. He doesn't even really question it. He's like, oh, what was in that shot? And she's like, well, we have this, an anti-freezing peptide, and that, and that, and that. Anything else? Yeah, we have this too. Anything else? We have this too. And they kind of stop. Like, at some point, it's interesting how many times he asks that question, and we keep getting more info, excuse me, but we never hear anything about FoxDie. Of course, she's not going to say that. But as I'm listening to that during the briefing, I know about FoxDie, and I'm like, whoa, let's hear where this goes, right? So it's very, very interesting that happened all without our knowledge, and we don't seem very happy with Colonel, with Campbell. There's been some problems with Campbell already, and it seems like yet another thing he's done that he knows about because it's part of the operation, but we don't know about. We're just the vector. We're just the carrier boy, right? Back to the other parts of the backstory. Dr. Clark was the one who experimented on Frank Yeager, on Gray Fox, to turn him into the cyborg ninja. And Gray Fox himself was the one that killed Dr. Clark. So, probably understandable. Next was, just in general, like her backstory. There's a lot of, you know, interesting, useful information there. But it just really set her up to why she's been doing the things she's been doing. And it also explains, she said she was wrong about us, and it explains why she had so many weird questions all throughout the game. Every time something would happen, she would be like, so you really care about Meryl, don't you? Or how do you actually feel about this whole thing with Gray Fox? She's asking these very interesting questions because she has this preconception of us as just some ruthless killer that killed her brother figure and her benefactor. And now she's seeing another side of us as she's working with us in the operation. So it is very interesting. We're going to call everyone else up and just get some further info. And then we'll continue moving on with the hotkey. Also, welcome back, Rose, again. And I got you on a drink.
Colonel, what's new with Naomi?
She's being interrogated, Snake. Leave her to me. You just worry about stopping Metal Gear. Please, Snake. I consider you my friend. Please believe that. Snake, we're just about out of time. Get to the control room.
Nastasha, I'm going to ask you one more time. Do you know anything about FoxDie and the real nature of this operation?
Sorry, I have not been told anything about that.
That's funny. The Colonel said almost exactly the same thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound sarcastic. I believe you.
So Naomi used FoxDie to take her revenge on you?
Yeah, but she said she wasn't the one who made the decision to use it. According to her, it was just one part of this operation.
If this goes all the way up to Campbell, it might not be so easy to get that vaccine. Oh well, forget about it.
I can't really blame Dr. Naomi. I feel sorry for her. Ever since I was a little kid, I always hated my first name.
Hal, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not a computer, I'm a human. My grandfather taking part in the Manhattan Project, my father being born on the day of the Hiroshima bomb. I hated every part of that. My name, my father, my grandfather. It felt like all those things were a ball and chain around my legs, dragging me down. But now that I think about it, I realize that I was blessed. At least I know who I am, where I came from. But Dr. Naomi didn't even know who her parents were, what her real name was. She must have been a very lonely little girl.
Otacon.
Sorry, Snake. I guess right now you should focus on re-inputting those PAL codes.
Snake, Naomi's under arrest.
What the hell is happening over there? What's the Colonel thinking?
Campbell is... I'm sorry, I can't say anymore. But please believe me, I'm here to help you until the end. Please, Snake, don't give up.
Alright. We're gonna do something real quick here. I do need to go to the bathroom, so I'd like to do the rest of the stream uninterrupted. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a very quick break here, and then we'll continue on right after this. The game is not capturing? There we go, okay. Alright, we are back. Ready to go use this key card, right? We do have to get around the, I'm just waiting on an explosion. We do have to get around the guards in here. Oof. They faked me out a little bit. Don't turn left. Or do it now, doesn't matter. Made it through. That's the room that worries me the most. Because it's so cold, obviously. I always liked how in this game, things are a little primitive because of how old it is. And when you have something happen, like the, like an alert, and then the alert dies down, it's like, return to your own possessions. And like, nothing happens, you know. It's a very simplified way of doing things. I mean, it was impressive for the time, right? But it's not aged as well as some of the other games in the series. It came out in 97, I believe. I think 97. There's my SOCOM, okay. There we go. It's a classic. Alright, we got these stupid cameras here. Just want to cause problems. Alright, last key is in.
Thank you, Snake. Now the detonation code is completed. Nothing can stop Metal Gear now.
Master, what's going on?
You found the key, and even activated the warhead for us, too. I really must express my gratitude. Sorry to have involved you in that silly shape memory alloy business.
What are you talking about?
We weren't able to learn the DARPA chief's code. Even with Mantis' psychic powers, he couldn't read his mind. Then Ocelot accidentally killed him during the interrogation. In other words, we weren't able to launch the nuclear device, and we were all getting a little worried. Without the threat of a nuclear strike, our demands would never be met.
What do you mean?
Without the detonation codes, we had to find some other way. That's when we decided you might prove useful, Snake.
What?
First, I thought we might get the information from you, Snake, so I had Decoy Octopus disguise himself as the DARPA chief. Unfortunately, Octopus didn't survive the encounter, thanks to FoxDie.
You mean you had this plan from the beginning, just to get me to input the detonation code?
Huh? You didn't think you made it this far by yourself, did you?
Who the hell are you?
In any case, the launch preparations are complete. Once the world glimpses the power of this weapon, the White House will have no choice but to surrender the FoxDie vaccine to me. Their ace in the hole is useless now.
Ace in the hole? What the?
The Pentagon's plan to use you was already successful in the torture room. Snake, you're the only one who doesn't know. Ah, poor fool.
Who are you anyway?
I'll tell you everything you want to know. If you come where I am, that is.
Where are you?
Very close by.
Snake, that's not Master Miller.
Campbell, you're too late.
Master Miller's body was just discovered at his home. He's been dead for at least 3 days. I didn't know because my codec link with Master was cut off. but Mei Ling said his transmission signal was coming from inside the base.
So who is it?
Snake, you've been talking to
Me, dear brother. Liquid, how the... You've served your purpose. You may die now.
Ooh, such a good reveal. Man, I've been holding that in all game. That's a tough one to not break. I want to talk about that for a moment, though. I kept calling out an interesting moment where Miller was unavailable on the codec around the time that we fought him in the Hind D. Well, it would actually make sense that if Liquid were piloting the Hind D, he wouldn't exactly have time to talk to us and play his role as Miller. So that was one thing. It's also interesting that it seems like on one hand he was pitting Naomi and us against each other, but he was also doing it because he wanted information about FoxDie. So he had his reasons for like legitimately trying to dig information out of her and us, and he recently, particularly on today's stream, he's asked a lot of questions like, so were you able to figure this out? Did you get any info on this or that? What about the DARPA chief and the Baker, and Baker, the president of Arms Tech? He's asking these questions because he's wanting to dig that information out, and that's part of why he planted that seed with Naomi to be like, hey, she's up to something, and he started like prodding at that, and he really pushed that forward so we could maybe figure out that info for him. So it's very interesting to watch how that happened. So we can call people up real quick and get some info. But big reveal there.
Snake, gas! Do something! Snake, Paul Emmerich. He should be able to break through security.
Snake, you are in danger. Get out of there.
Yeah, but how?
Isn't there someone who knows this base? Dr. Emmerich, maybe he can do something.
You want to talk? No? Okay. Now you also see why I wanted to take my bathroom break when I did, too, because it was a good moment right before all this starts going down, right?
Snake, that's bulletproof glass. You can't break it with an ordinary weapon.
Can't you open the security lock here?
I'll try. Just hold on for a minute.
Are you hurt, Snake? Don't give up.
All right. Now we just got our gas mask on and we'll just wait for a little bit. I'll use a ration. Just top off.
I hacked into security. Snake, I'm opening the door.
As someone with a cybersecurity background, he's very quick at that job. Oh, you see that? Looked like Liquid to me. Is he just running around without a shirt? Oh yeah. He's just staring at us. Someone start knocking? Hey, buddy.
Liquid! Snake! Did you like my sunglasses? You'd point a weapon at your own brother?
Why did you disguise yourself as Master?
So I could manipulate you more easily. And you performed quite well, I must say. Although the boys at the Pentagon are probably saying the same thing.
What the hell are you talking about?
Following orders blindly with no questions asked, you've lost your warrior's pride and become nothing more than a pawn, Snake.
What?
Stopping the nuclear launch, rescuing the hostages, it was all just a diversion.
A diversion?
The Pentagon only needed for you to come into contact with us. That's what killed the Arms Tech president and decoy octopus.
You don't mean...
That's right. You were sent here to kill us so they could retrieve Metal Gear undamaged, along with the bodies of the Genome soldiers. From the beginning, the Pentagon was just using you as a vector to spread FoxDie.
FoxDie? It can't be. Are you telling me Naomi was working with the Pentagon?
They thought she was, but it seems that Dr. Naomi Hunter couldn't be controlled so easily.
What?
We've got a spy working in the Pentagon. He reported that Dr. Hunter altered FoxDie's program just before the operation, but no one knows how or why.
I wonder... Maybe they arrested her so they could find out the answer to that.
No doubt. But I had no idea she was motivated by such petty revenge. We still don't know what changes she made to FoxDie's program. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I've already added the FoxDie vaccine to my list of White House demands.
There's a vaccine?
There must be, but that woman is the only one who really knows. Anyway, it might prove to be unnecessary.
Why's that?
You were successful in coming into contact with all of us, so we must have all been exposed to the virus. It's true that the Armstech president and decoy octopus were killed by FoxDie, but Ocelot, myself, and you, the carrier, were apparently unaffected.
A bug in the virus's programming?
Could be. In any case, if it doesn't kill you, then I'm not worried either. After all, our genetic code is identical.
So it's true. You and I are...
Yes, twins. But we're not ordinary twins. We're twins linked by cursed genes. Les enfants terribles. You're fine. You got all the old man's dominant genes. I got the flawed recessive genes. Everything was done so that you would be the greatest of his children. The only reason I exist is so they could create you.
I was the favorite, huh?
That's right. I'm just the leftovers of what they used to make you. Can you understand what it's like to know that you're garbage since the day you were born? But I'm the one Father chose.
So that's why you're so obsessed with Big Boss. Some warped kind of love.
Love? It's hate! He always told me I was inferior, and now I'll have my revenge! You should understand me, brother. You killed our father with your own hands! You stole my chance for revenge! Now I'll finish the work that Father began. I will surpass him! I will destroy him!
You're just like Naomi.
Well, I'm not like you! Unlike you, I'm proud of the destiny that is encoded into my very genes. Yeah! Snake, your blood will be the first to be spilled by this glorious new weapon. Consider it an honor, a gift from your brother. Now I'll show you the power of the weapon that will lead us in the 21st century.
It's moving. How do I stop it?
Really awesome to be not only face to face with Liquid there, but Metal Gear. Metal Gear Rex here. One of the things I wanted to call attention to was I was talking about the big reveal and everything, and I just forgot to mention how interesting it is that if we call back to right before we started doing all the keycard stuff, they saw that we were out there. They wanted us to do the keycard, and that's why they were talking so openly about it. So it's very cool to see how that kind of fit together. We heard a mention about Les Enfants Terribles before, during the torture scenes, I believe. And we didn't really have any context as to what it was. We have a little more info on it now, and there was a lot of talk about basically the cloning and everything of Big Boss that we just heard about, and how Solid Snake, we have all the recessive genes, or all the dominant genes, and Liquid has all the recessive genes, and he feels inferior because of that. And that's one of the things that has him like so angry, and he wanted his revenge against Big Boss because of how he felt, mistreated or whatever by Big Boss over it. He was always referred to as inferior and everything. And I like that call out. Like, you're no different than Naomi. You're just like wanting this petty revenge over something that shouldn't really matter.
God help us. Metal Gear is moving. Snake, it's all riding on you now. You've got to stop that thing.
But how?
You'll have to ask Dr. Emmerich, the guy who made it.
A lot of good info about FoxDie and stuff too there.
I am a military analyst and an expert on high-tech weapons, but I don't know anything about Metal Gear. Why don't you ask Dr. Emmerich?
I like how we could still call him, even though we know who he is now.
Snake, Rex's armor is impregnable. You can't do any damage with the weapons you've got.
But
Rex uses the latest advances in compound armor. The only way you can pierce it is with a high-performance heat round.
So what do I do?
Rex's pilot seat operates exactly like a VR system. It's got multiple sensors connected to a high-tech interface used for the controls. It's completely self-enclosed and shut off from the outside environment.
He's not using his naked eyes?
That's right. So if you could somehow destroy the sensors... Do you see that round plate on Rex's left arm?
Yeah, that thing that looks like a shield.
That's a radome. If you can destroy that thing, it won't be able to use its electronic equipment.
So he'll be blinded.
Yeah, try to hit that radome with a Stinger missile.
So that will stop it?
No. Rex was designed so it can be controlled manually, too.
Oh, great.
The part that looks like a beak is where the pilot seat is. In an emergency, it'll open up. Rex's armor is perfect. You can't destroy it.
You told me that already.
But the interior is a different story.
I get it. First I destroy the radome. That will force him to open up the pilot's seat.
Right. If you can shoot a Stinger missile into the cockpit, you'll destroy the computer control system.
You intentionally designed it with a weak point?
It's not a weak point. I like to think of it as a character flaw. People just aren't complete without some type of character flaw, don't you think?
I guess so. I owe you one, Otacon.
Snake, there's nothing I can do to help you. All I can do is cheer you on.
okay.
Don't give up.
All right, let's have some fun. Nothing's happened yet. Ha! Oh, no. I tried to move, but had some issues there. Ouch. The pain is real. I think we have another thing we can do as well to help us out. So let's do that. It is electronic after all. Damn it. Yeah, see, they even give us chaff here. Oh, come on. Here we go.
Did that do it?
Hurry! Get away!
Great Fox.
The name from long ago. It sounds better than Deep Throat.
So it is you.
You're a terrible snake. You haven't aged well.
I'll send you back to hell!
Fox, why? What do you want from me?
I'm a prisoner of death. Only you can free me.
Fox, stay out of this. What about Naomi? She's hell-bent on taking revenge for you.
Naomi.
You're the only one who can stop her.
No, I can't.
Why?
Because I'm the one who killed her parents. I was young then and couldn't bring myself to kill her too. I felt so bad that I decided to take her with me. I raised her like she was my own blood to soothe my guilty conscience. Even now she thinks of me as her brother.
Fox.
From the outside, we might have seemed like a happy brother and sister, but every time I looked at her, I saw her parents' eyes staring back at me. Tell her for me. Tell her that I was the one who did it.
There you are!
We're just about out of time. Here's a final present from Deep Throat. I'll stop it from moving. Fox!
Ooh.
In the Middle East, we don't hunt foxes, we hunt jackals. Instead of foxhounds, we use royal harriers.
Fox.
How strong is that exoskeleton of yours? Snake, are you just going to sit by and watch him die?
Cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal.
Destroyed the radome.
Impressive! You are indeed worthy of the code name Fox, but now you're finished!
No! Fire the stinger!
Fox, can you really shoot? You'll kill him too!
Now, in front of you, I can finally die. After Zanzibar, I was taken from the battle. Neither truly alive nor truly dead. An undying shadow in a world of light. But soon, soon, it will finally end. Snake, we're not tools of the government or anyone else. Fighting was the only thing I was good at. But at least I always
him. You see, you can't protect anyone, not even yourself. Die!
One thing I forgot about, I would have done it if I remembered. I think if you try to shoot the stinger during that scene, Snake is like, I can't, and he won't do it.
Colonel, Fox is dead.
I know. God rest his soul. Even a soldier needs more to live for than just fighting. Maybe if he had found something else, he wouldn't have been so haunted.
He was too simple, too pure. There was nothing in this world for him to believe in, so he chose to believe only in himself.
I guess you're right. A man like Fox is really only looking for his death.
Yeah. If you ask me, there's no happiness to be gained in death. No peace either. I'm gonna leave here alive.
Good. I want that too.
Use your stinger missiles carefully. If you run out, you'll have no chance to win.
Want to talk, Liquid? No? You don't want to talk this out? I don't think he wants to talk either. Meryl, Otacon.
I saw it in President Baker's top secret files. Rex has a free electron laser mounted on its belly. It's a laser weapon that discharges a laser beam into an electron beam that's been accelerated using giant magnets. It can generate an incredible amount of energy, pretty close to 100 megawatts. That's 10 times greater than any other laser out there.
Oh, I was going to comment on something earlier when I talked about some of the they talked about the ballistic missiles and everything, and the railgun being cheap comparatively. But realistically, railguns and lasers as weapons both have some problems, and it's actually really expensive energy-wise. Now, there are lasers that are being used on planes and stuff today. It is a real thing, but they're not like sci-fi laser weapons. They're mostly, as far as I know, they're mostly for defensive purposes, and I think we're working and we're getting close to being able to weaponize them a little bit better. But it's still going to take some time.
Snake, are you okay? Win, Snake, win!
I will. Whoa. Oh, that's a hit. For both of us. Oh, no, no. I didn't want to do it. Dude, it's so hard to dodge them. I forgot how hard it was to dodge them. I'm thinking I should use, can we chaff these? Can't remember. It's been so long. What's going on, Don? This is the, like, original PC version. Let's put the body armor on. Right, I need to chaff. I just need to be chaffing, I guess. Because that should disrupt their targeting. Yeah, I might have to redo this one. Yeah, see, there we go. That's what I've been needing to do the whole time. Give me that ration, I need it. Alright, one more ought to do it, right? Maybe two. There we go. Beautiful.
Snake, I'll crush you into dust.
A snake. Liquid. You're still alive.
I won't die as long as you still live.
Too bad. It looks like your revolution was a failure.
Just because you've destroyed Metal Gear doesn't mean I'm done fighting.
Fighting? What are you really after?
A world where warriors like us are honored as we once were, as we should be.
That was Big Boss's fantasy.
It was his dying wish. When he was young, during the Cold War, the world needed men like us. We were valued then. We were desired. But things are different now. With all the lies and hypocrites running the world, war isn't what it used to be. We're losing our place in a world that no longer needs us. A world that now spurns our very existence. You should know that as well as I do. After I launch this weapon and get our $1 billion, we'll be able to bring chaos and honor back to this world gone soft. Conflict will breed conflict. New hatreds will arise. Then we'll steadily expand our sphere of influence.
But as long as there are people, there will always be war.
But the problem is balance. Father knew what type of a balance was best.
Is that the only reason?
Isn't it reason enough for warriors such as us?
I don't want that kind of world.
Ha! You lie! So why are you here then? Why do you continue to follow your orders while your superiors betray you? Why did you come here? Well, I'll tell you then. You enjoy all the killing. That's why.
What?
Are you denying it? Haven't you already killed most of my comrades?
That was...
I watched your face when you did it. It was filled with the joy of battle.
You're wrong.
There's a killer inside you. You don't have to deny it. We were created to be that way.
Created?
Les enfants terribles. The terrible children. That's what the project was called. It started in the 1970s. Their plan was to artificially create the most powerful soldier possible. The person that they chose as the model was the man known then as the greatest living soldier in the world.
Big Boss.
But Father was wounded in combat and already in a coma when they brought him in. So they created us from his cells, with a combination of 20th century analog cloning and the super baby method.
Super baby method.
They fertilized an egg with one of Father's cells, and then let it divide into 8 clone babies. Then they transferred the clones to someone's uterus, and later intentionally aborted 6 of the fetuses to encourage strong fetal growth. You and I were originally octuplets.
Octuplets?
Yes. The other 6 of our brothers were sacrificed to make us.
we were accomplices in murder before the day we were even born. So it was you and I, two fertilized eggs with exactly the same DNA. But they weren't finished yet. They used me as a guinea pig to create a phenotype in which all of the dominant genes were expressed to create you. I got all of the recessive genes. You took everything from me before I was even born. But you and I aren't his only children.
What?
The genome soldiers. They too are his progeny, carrying on his genetic legacy. But they're different. They're digital. With the completion of the Human Genome Project, the mysteries of humanity were laid bare. Thanks to Father's DNA, they were able to identify more than 60 soldier genes responsible for everything from strategic thinking to the proverbial killer instinct. Those soldier genes were transplanted into the members of the next generation special forces. That's how they became the genome soldiers. That's right. The genome soldiers that you've been killing are our brothers with the same genes as ours.
The genome soldiers?
That's right. They are our brothers, created artificially through the alignment of nucleotides to mimic our father's genes. They too are the product of numerous sacrifices.
Sacrifices?
Human experiments! 1991, the Gulf War. The military secretly injected soldiers with the soldier genes. The Gulf War syndrome that hundreds of thousands of returning soldiers complained about was a side effect of it.
Ha! Everyone knows that the Gulf War syndrome was caused by exposure to depleted uranium used in the anti-tank rounds.
That was just a cover story issued by the Pentagon. First they tried to say it was post-traumatic stress disorder, then chemical or biological weapons. The poison gas detection units and the anti-sarin injections, they were all just a cover-up of the secret genetic experiments.
So then, the so-called Gulf War babies that have been reported by Gulf War veterans are...
Yes. They too are our brothers and sisters.
So the genome soldiers mean that the experiments were a success?
Success? Don't be a fool. They're a complete failure. We are on the verge of extinction.
What?
Have you ever heard of the asymmetry theory? Nature tends to favor asymmetry. Those species which have gone extinct all show signs of symmetry. The genome soldiers suffer from the same problem, signs of symmetry. So do I. As do you. That's right. We are all on the verge of death at the genetic level. We don't know when or what type of disease will occur. That's why we need the old man's genetic information.
You want Big Boss's DNA so you can save your family? It's very touching.
In nature, family members don't mate with each other, and yet they help each other to survive. Do you know why? It increases the chance that their genes will be passed on to a new generation. Altruism among blood relatives is a response to natural selection. It's called the selfish gene theory.
You're telling me that your genes are ordering you to save the genome soldiers?
You can't fight your genes. It's fate. All living things are born for the sole purpose of passing on their parents' genes. That's why I'll follow what my genes tell me. And then I'm going to go beyond, in order to break the curse of my heritage. And to do that, first, I will kill you. Look behind you!
No! Is she alive?
I'm not sure. She was alive a few hours ago. Poor girl kept calling your name.
Meryl. Stupid woman. Falling in love with a man who doesn't even have a name.
I have a name.
No! We have no past, no future, and even if we did, it wouldn't be truly ours. You and I are just copies of our father, Big Boss.
Let Meryl go.
As soon as we've finished our business, we're almost out of time.
You're talking about FoxDie.
No. It seems now that the Pentagon knows that Metal Gear is destroyed. They've arrived at a decision. They won't even need a BDA. If you want the details, why don't you ask your precious Colonel Campbell?
Colonel, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm listening.
What is the Pentagon trying to do? Colonel, answer me.
The Secretary of Defense has taken over active control of this operation. He's on his way there by AWACS.
What for?
To bomb the place.
What?
Not only that, B-2 bombers just lifted off from Galena Air Force Base. They're carrying B-6113 surface-piercing tactical nuclear bombs.
What? Metal Gear is destroyed. Tell the Secretary of Defense.
The Secretary of Defense heard that Naomi double-crossed us, and he's worried about FoxDie. Now that there's no more danger of a nuclear strike from Metal Gear, he's going to do whatever's necessary to cover up the truth of what really happened here.
He's going to drop a nuclear bomb to vaporize all the evidence along with anyone who knows anything.
Don't worry, Snake. I'll stop the nuclear strike.
How?
I may only be a figurehead here, but I'm still officially in command of this mission. If I issue an order to delay the strike, it'll confuse the chain of command and at least buy you some time. It'll give you a chance to escape.
But, Colonel, if you do that...
It's okay, Snake. The truth is, Foxhound was already the subject of an undercover investigation. Meryl was transferred to this base just before the terrorist attack as a way of manipulating me.
Those bastards.
I'm sorry. They forced me to cooperate in exchange for her life. You better get out of there, Snake.
Are you sure? It'll be bad for you.
Don't worry. It's the least I can do for you after all the lies.
Colonel.
I'm ordering them to cancel the bombing run. After that, there's no turning back. What? What are you doing? What?
Snake!
Mei Ling, what happened to the Colonel?
I don't believe it.
What happened?
Snake, the Colonel!
Roy Campbell has been relieved of duty. This is the Secretary of Defense, Jim Houseman.
Put the Colonel back on.
He's been placed under arrest for leaking top-secret information and for the crime of high treason.
Ridiculous.
Yes, he's a ridiculous man. He truly believed that he was in command of this operation.
You bastard.
There won't be a speck of evidence left. I'm sure the President would want the same thing.
President ordered this?
The President is a busy man. I have complete authority here.
How do you plan on explaining a nuclear attack on Alaska to the media?
Don't worry. We've prepared a convincing cover story. We'll simply say that the terrorists exploded a nuclear device.
Smart. You'll be murdering everyone here. The scientists, the Genome Army, everyone.
Donald, the DARPA chief, is already dead.
So you didn't mean to kill the DARPA chief after all?
He was my friend.
And you could care less about what happens to everybody else, huh?
Well, if you give me the optic disc, I might consider saving them.
What are you talking about?
Metal Gear's test data. Donald was supposed to bring it back.
I don't have it.
I see. Oh well, that's okay. You two are an embarrassment from the 1970s. Our country's dirty little secret. You can't be allowed to live. Well, the bombs will be dropping soon, and you two have a lot of catching up to do. Farewell.
There's no way out for us. Let's finish this before the airstrike. You stole everything from me. Only your death can satisfy me. Only your death can return to me what is rightly mine. She'll make a beautiful sacrifice for our final battle. Do you see this? It will be the time limit for our final battle. This nuclear module is set to detonate at the precise moment of her death. If you win, you might still be able to save her. You could enjoy one brief moment of love before the end. If you cross this line, you'll fall. At this height, it will kill even you. Have at you, Snake.
Alright, there's a lot going on there. I got that hydrated a minute ago, by the way. Yet more information about Les Enfants Terribles. I think it really just helps solidify the motive a little bit more. That's the biggest thing that I think we got from that, but there's still some lore dumps there about what was going on in the 70s and all that, so there's a lot of important information to kind of keep track of there. But the other like big thing that just happened with Campbell, of course, where the Secretary of Defense just takes over and says, no, we're gonna bomb this place. Campbell's out now, he's arrested. We're in kind of a bad situation here. So we can't call Campbell. We can't call Master. I mean, he's literally right in front of us because it's Liquid. Deep Throat, Gray Fox is dead. Meryl's on the floor over here, knocked out. So we can try Nastasha and Otacon.
Snake, it is just you and Liquid now. There is no advice I can give you. Trust yourself. You have got to win.
If you look like you're about to fall off the back of Rex, press any button rapidly. You'll be able to climb up more quickly.
So Liquid's very, very insecure about the whole recessive gene thing as well.
Snake? Win, Snake, win!
Alright, let's see if we can bop this man. So I think on harder difficulties, the time limit is shorter. He's like not doing anything. There we go, we got a little bit of action. Oh!
What's wrong, Snake?
Once he starts guarding like that. Get baited!
Nice shot!
Just punch him in the face.
What's wrong, Snake?
Oof.
What's wrong?
I might die. This is kind of a hard fight, by the way. It's not just like me doing bad, it's kind of a hard fight. Doing this on extreme is pretty rough.
Better hurry. It's going to blow.
I gotta keep trying to bait. Come on. Oh! I thought I'd dodge that too. That was interesting.
Have at you.
Because it sounded like Mei Ling. And it kind of makes sense because everybody else is out of commission. Also, it's really hard to to, like, aim the direction you want to aim because no analog. Oof. Bro, how did that not hit you? Gotta try to always get him in the triple. Because that's how you do the most damage. There we go. I will say about the about that question, I guarantee I'm doing better than a lot of people would. Especially for not having done this fight for years. Man, he like changed up his pattern a little bit in the middle, and it threw me off. He did that last time too, so it is like an actual thing. Come on. Dude, I hate when he iframes after the first hit. I need to just do single attacks. Sometimes he iframes after the first hit, and I can't get him with the combo. Ooh. Can't actually, like, knock him off like that, like, kill him like that, but... Oh, no! It's gonna be really close. If I do get it. Oh, come on.
You're out of time.
Yep. Still, just checking whose voice it is.
Have at you, Snake.
Nope. It'd also be nice if he didn't hit so damn hard. It's like I do way less damage.
Nice shot.
Alright, he's halfway. I think he's gonna change the pattern a bit. Because he seems to get more aggressive at the halfway point. He doesn't stand around as much, and that's what threw my rhythm off before. If we could stop him from iframing everything, we'll be in good shape. Too bad you can't just like step on his fingers. Aw, I thought we were gonna do a no-hit on this victory. If I don't choke now. I don't even know if choke would be the right word though. Because choke is like, to me, when you're nervous about something and you let nerves get you. I'm not like nervous. I just don't want to die. Yes, do that. There we go. There we go.
Meryl.
Is that you? Snake! Oh, you're alive! Thank God!
Meryl. Meryl, are you okay?
Are you okay? Is that all you can say?
Meryl, it must have been terrible.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. I didn't give in to the torture.
Torture?
And things even worse than that. I was fighting too. Just like you.
You're a strong woman.
Fighting them made me feel closer to you. I felt like you were there with me. It gave me the strength to go on. But I was scared.
I'm sorry.
Don't say that. But it made me realize something. During all the pain and shame, there was one thing I was sure of. A single hope that I held on to. And that hope kept me alive. Snake, I wanted to see you again.
Meryl. That's my Kodak.
Snake, it's me.
Otacon, good news. Meryl's okay.
All right. You saved her, man. Good job.
I got some bad news, too. We're about to be bombed.
Oh, boy. I guess we're considered expendable.
Is there a way out of here?
A way out? Yeah. You can take the loading tunnel to the surface. There's a parking garage right next to you. The tunnel leads from there to the surface.
The door in front?
No. It's a small entrance to the west of that door.
How about the security?
I just unlocked it. Who do you think you're talking to? I'll take care of security along your escape route, too.
What are you going to do?
Me? I'll stay here.
Are you crazy?
I need a little more time to take care of your escape route.
But
unlocking the security doors is difficult work. Only I can do it.
Otacon.
Don't worry. I'm staying here. It's my own decision.
Otacon, this is a hardened shelter, but they're going to use a surface-piercing nuclear bomb. It won't hold.
I'm through regretting the past. Life isn't all about loss, you know. Snake, I'm a complete person now. I've found a reason to live.
Good. Don't die on me.
Same to you. Take care of Meryl, okay?
I will.
Okay, I gotta go. I promise I'll do something about your escape route.
Thanks.
Thanks? Well, that sounds nice.
I believe in you.
Thanks, Snake.
Let's get the hell out of here.
What about him? Where's Otacon?
He's fighting right now. With his old self. To be the man he wants to be.
He's fighting for us too?
Yeah. And I don't want it to be in vain.
Me too.
Meryl.
Snake.
Meryl. It started.
I must be heavy.
Looks like we're not gonna have a love scene after all.
Looks that way. Too bad.
Let's get out of here.
Snake, it's freezing outside. You need some clothes.
There's my sneaking suit.
Hurry up. Hurry! Looking good, Snake. Hurry!
Meryl's shadow was like jacked up going through her body during that. Well, obviously, yeah. I gotta call them because they're there, and it'll bother me if I don't. What's going on with you, Otakon?
Snake, they've placed the Colonel under arrest. I don't know what I should do. This will probably be your last save.
I'm going to miss those proverbs of yours.
Snake.
Mei Ling, I have a favor to ask you. Make a hard copy of all the codec conversation data up to this point. I want some insurance.
Okay, Snake, leave it to me. Snake, please. Be safe for me.
Alrighty. Got a nice little time limit. Let's get that ration that's literally our only equipment at the moment.
I'll drive. Damn, a surveillance camera.
Come on. We just got started. Oh.
Damn, no keys.
Hey.
All right, keys.
Here we go.
I got it, Snake. Jump in.
Oh, it's on the other side. I kind of wanted that ration.
Fire that machine gun with your weapon button. Shoot him, Snake.
Dude. Forgot how brutal this control is. And I use my ration. This is gonna be rough. Oh, you gotta hold the button, but you can do this.
Uh-oh, Snake. Check. Here they come. We'll never make it. Snake, clear a path. Okay, Snake, let's go.
Can you like give me some rations or something? That'd be great. There was a second one there too. I'm so mad about it.
We're not out of the woods yet. Here they come. We'll never make it. Snake, clear a path.
I'm working on it.
You did it, Snake.
Here. No item.
Not yet, Snake. It's not over yet. Liquid.
I'm just gonna keep squeezing on this man. Dude, I took damage. This is why I wanted that other ration. The barrel's not gonna overheat. We don't gotta worry about the gun at all. Damn it. Yo, he is just tanking these hits, though. What a champ. Dude, look at my health. Dude, what?
Snake.
Oh my god. Alright, where are you putting me? Okay, this is good. This is a better spot.
I'll drive. Damn, a surveillance camera. Damn, no keys. All
Break his neck.
I got it, Snake. Jump in.
Ignore. Okay, good, good. I was like, ignore them. Get the rations. I know. I'm working on it. Okay. So we have 2 rations now. We have a lot more health. Much better shape than last time. I think we're fairly close to the end as well. It's just kind of rough when you don't have any way to heal. I've talked about it before. I don't really like a lot of the forced combat scenes in this game.
You did it, Snake.
This is one that always kind of bothered me a bit. You know how he said, like, at this height it'll kill even you? Why didn't you die, bro? You know, I'm saying though, he just takes so many shots. Like this is not like us hitting something else. He's bleeding. These are hitting him. Dude, how am I not hitting him? Like, this man is just soaking up bullets. This is where I died last time, right? Yeah, that really was right at the end, too.
Shook up.
Meryl, can you move?
It's no good. I can't move.
What happened to Liquid?
I can't see him either.
Liquid's dead. Uh-oh.
Snake!
If he's dead, that means...
Don't say it, Snake.
What happened to the air raid? No stealth bombers in sight.
Can you hear me?
Colonel.
Are you okay?
Colonel, what happened?
The Secretary of Defense has been arrested. Early retirement.
Arrested?
I was able to get into contact with the President. Metal Gear, the training exercise, all of it. It was all the Secretary of Defense acting alone.
Acting alone? What happened to the air raid and the nuclear strike?
The orders were rescinded. The F-117s and the B-2 Spirits have returned to the base. Once again, I have complete authority over this operation.
I see.
Washington isn't stupid enough to use nukes to cover up a few secrets.
I wonder about that.
In any case, the danger's over. Thanks, Snake.
Colonel, you can rest easy. Meryl's fine.
Really? Thanks. Thank you, Snake. Snake, I'm sorry. I kept a lot of things from you.
It's okay, Colonel.
Snake, I'm not a colonel.
Oh, that's right.
I've got a present for you. There's a snowmobile close to you. Mei Ling saw it on the satellite photos. This time of year, the glaciers are pretty calm. You should be able to ride right out of there. I'll bet the boys at the DIA and the NSA never expect you to come home alive.
Me neither. I better not show my face around here.
No danger of that. You two officially died after your Jeep sank into the ocean.
That's not too far from the truth.
Also, there's a helicopter waiting for you on Fox Island.
Dr. Hal Emmerich should be somewhere on the base. I want someone to bring him in.
I understand. Leave it to me.
Okay, Roy. Are you gonna be okay?
Don't worry. I've got an insurance policy. A hard copy of all Mei Ling's data. As long as I've got that, you, me, and Mei Ling will be fine.
The battery on these nanomachines will run out soon. They won't be able to follow us.
I guess we won't meet again.
Don't worry. I'll pay you a visit sometime.
Really? I look forward to that.
Roy, just tell me one thing.
What?
About FoxDie.
Meryl will be fine. She wasn't included in its programming.
What about me? It killed Liquid.
Naomi said that she wants to talk to you face to face about that.
How is she?
Don't worry. Mei Ling is with her right now. I'm switching over to Naomi.
Snake, it's me.
Naomi.
I heard about my brother.
I'm sorry. But he had one last message he wanted to say to you.
What?
He told me to tell you to forget about him and to go on with your own life.
Frankie said that?
Yeah. He also said he'll always love you. Naomi, your brother just saved you, me, and the whole world. He fought with every ounce of strength in his body.
Maybe. Maybe now he's finally found some peace. He wasn't really my brother anymore. Ever since he fought with you in Zanzibar, he's been like a ghost. A ghost looking for a place to die.
Naomi, Liquid died from FoxDie too. What about me? When am I gonna go?
That's up to you.
What do you mean?
Everybody dies when their time's up.
Yeah, so when's mine up?
It's up to you how you use the time left to you. Live, Snake. That's all I can say to you.
Each person is born with their fate written into their own genetic code. It's unchangeable, immutable. But that's not all there is to life. I finally realized that. I told you before the reason that I was interested in genes and DNA. Because I wanted to know who I was, where I came from. I thought that if I analyzed my DNA, I could find out who I was, who my parents were. And I thought that if I knew that, then I'd know what path I should take in life. But I was wrong. I didn't find anything. I didn't learn anything. Just like with the genome soldiers, you can input all the genetic information, but that doesn't make them into the strongest soldiers. The most we can say about DNA is that it governs a person's potential strengths, potential destiny. You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. Snake, whether or not you're in the FoxDie program isn't important. The important thing is that you choose life. And then live. Don't you think, Snake? Don't worry. I'm going to choose life too. Until today, I've always looked for a reason to live. But from here on, I'm going to just live. Genes exist to pass down our hopes and dreams for the future through our children. Living is a link to the future. That's how all life works. Loving each other, teaching each other. That's how we can change the world. I finally realized it. The true meaning of life. Thank you, Snake.
Look, I found this.
Let's keep it as a reminder.
Of what? A reminder of a successful mission? Or the first time we met?
A reminder of how to live.
Huh?
Until today, I've lived only for myself. Survival has been the only thing I cared about in my life.
That's not just you. That's how everyone is.
I only felt truly alive when I was staring death in the face. I don't know. Maybe it's written into my genes.
What about now? What do your genes say about your future now?
Maybe it's time I live for someone else.
Someone else?
Yeah. Someone like you. Maybe that's the real way to live.
So, where to, Snake?
David. My name's David.
Okay. So where to, Dave?
I think it's time we look for a new path in life.
A new path?
A new purpose.
Will we find it?
We'll find it. I know we'll find it.
What are those?
Caribou. To the Aleutians, the caribou is a symbol of life. It'll be spring here soon.
For us too.
Yeah. Spring brings new life to everything. It's a time for hope. I've lived here a long time, but Alaska has never looked more beautiful. The sky, the sea, the caribou, and most of all, you.
I think I'm gonna like this new life.
Come on. Let's enjoy life.
In the 1980s, there were more than 60,000 nuclear warheads in the world at all times. The total destructive power amounted to 1 million times that of the Hiroshima A-bomb. In January 93, START II was signed, and the United States and Russia agreed to reduce the number of deployed strategic nuclear warheads to 3,000 to 3,500 in each nation As of 1998, there still exist 26,000 nuclear warheads in the world. We got the excellent song here, The Best Is Yet to Come. But that's it. This song is so good. Also, this like really tiny screen, that was hard to read. Seems like a scaling thing with this this version of the game, I guess. When they show certain movie clips that you may have noticed before, they go into that little tiny box. Not really anything I can do about that. It's on my side too. It's not just like a capture issue. It's on my side. The game was not designed to run at the higher resolution that I'm actually playing it at, so the little videos are just tiny and they don't scale. Which is also interesting that they're doing this as a video, but I think I know why. Alrighty, so that is the end of Metal Gear Solid. Of course, Liquid put up a hell of a fight, taken down by FoxDie. Now I can go ahead and say something I wanted to talk about a long time ago, but back during the torture scenes, we had two options. We could either keep resisting the torture, or we could give up. If you give up the torture, Meryl actually dies. And so there are two endings to the game. In the other ending, Otacon is driving, and you're like, you know, in the back of the Jeep shooting at Liquid. So Otacon helps you escape. See, this is why I was saying I think I understand why they did a actual movie for the credits, because they actually have footage and stuff. It just hadn't shown up yet. But yeah, Otacon does most of the escape stuff, and you're like shooting and all that. And there's obviously different dialogue. You know, Snake is not getting romantic with Otacon, as far as I can remember, at least. It's very interesting how they kind of had that like romance thing going on there at the end. Kind of sets us up for an interesting spot, because we know there are more games in the series, so we can see how that plays out as we go through the other games, right? Oh, this song is so good. So there's a VGM band called The Returners, which is a Final Fantasy VI reference. And they actually did a cover of this song. It's really, really good. And back then, the original incarnation of the band had Lobos Jr. on guitar, and he's well known for... he's not in the band anymore, but he's well known for a lot of his like Dark Souls weird speed runs and challenge runs and stuff. So there's a lot we could say. Naomi was talking about, you know, don't be chained to your genes and everything, but that's exactly what Liquid was. You know, he was obsessed with his genes, and he feels like because he got all the recessive genes that he was a prisoner of that, and he was inferior, and he would never be viewed as whole or whatever, because that was kind of the dominant genes were taken away from him, right? And he kind of let that guide so much of what he did, because he simultaneously wanted to get revenge on Big Boss, but he couldn't really do that because Solid Snake took down Big Boss, so he wanted to then get that revenge on Solid Snake, but it was also kind of just a personal thing against Solid Snake. He's like, yo, you've got all the dominant stuff, I don't like you stole that from me, so it's very personal. But that's exactly, he was completely ruled by his genes, right? And the recessive one ends up losing, of course. That's very fitting, right? There's so much going on. It's very hard to, like, you know, kind of break down and discuss everything, because there's just so many different pieces of the story. And I'll forget something, or, you know, it'll be hard to catch everything. One of the things that I really liked that stood out was Naomi asking, we're talking about Gray Fox, and Snake actually lied, right? He said, Not that Gray Fox, you know, his last words were really, tell Naomi that I killed her parents, I'm sorry about all this and everything. Snake just completely threw that aside and said, nah, he wanted to tell you that he loved you and all kinds of, you know, positive stuff. And Naomi seemed really moved by that. And I think one thing that was interesting though is, you know, we saw FoxDie kill Liquid and we're like, yo, but we have like basically the same genetics, so what's gonna happen? And she's like, oh, I can't tell you. Just live your life. Do the best that you can with the time that you have. And that is a good message. But it's like, yo, you injected me with the disease that targets people's genetics. And that's all you're gonna tell me?
You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. The important thing is that you choose life, and then live.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yes, sir. The entire unit was wiped out. Those two are still alive. The Vector? Yes, sir. FoxDie should become activated soon. Right on schedule. Yes, sir. I recovered all of Rex's dummy warhead data. No, sir. My cover is intact. Nobody knows who I really am. Yes, the DARPA chief knew my identity, but he's been disposed of. Yes, the inferior one was the winner after all. That's right. Until the very end, Liquid thought he was the inferior one. Yes, sir, I agree completely. It takes a well-balanced individual such as yourself to rule the world. No, sir. No one knows that you were the third one, Solidus. What should I do about the woman? Yes, sir. I'll keep her under surveillance. Yes. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. President.
It's so good. All right, we got Hyena, and I used way too many rations. 36 enemies is kind of whatever. Some of them are kind of forced. Being found, yeah, is whatever. The continues were mostly all today. I think I died like 3 or 4 times in the hot room. I died twice on Liquid. I died once in the escape. So yeah, it's mostly all today. I think actually the only other death I think I had was Psycho Mantis. So let's talk a little bit about what we heard just a moment ago. Ocelot, who I conveniently didn't mention, but we haven't seen him since that room where we put the keys in, right? He just disappeared. And there we go, hearing him talk to the president. It takes a well-balanced individual like yourself to rule the world. No one knew that you were the third, Solidus. Okay. So just kind of let that one simmer a little bit, you know. The other thing that was big, and I made a point to, I knew what was coming, right? So I made it a point to call that out during the credits, and I even said that the dominant one was the winner, right? Between Liquid and Solid. But we just had that completely flipped on its head. They said the inferior one was the winner. What does that mean? So I think what they're actually saying is that Solid actually had all the recessive genes and it's been flipped, and that Liquid was completely wrong about everything that he believed. It's very interesting there. They're going to put surveillance on the girl, which I assume is Meryl. They are, what was the other thing they're going to do? Or a couple other things going on. Ocelot got all the dummy warhead data from Rex. he has some identity, which we can already start piecing together a little bit about that because he's in contact with the president. The Secretary of Defense seemed to be operating without the authority of the president, but it turns out the president knew more than we thought he knew, right? And so that has something to do with his identity for sure. But he says the DARPA chief knew his identity, but he's been disposed of. So that's very, very interesting. We got Codename Hyena, which is based on like all our stats here. The saves are so much mainly because I like talking to Mei Ling. I want to talk to everybody, and if I'm talking to her, I'm just going to save. I don't care that much about the rank. About 11 hours, almost even, like almost on the dot. And we got the camera and the bandana. So we unlocked the camera as I played through. We found it, and then the bandana is an infinite ammo item, and you can also unlock stealth camo. So then we, see Doc NM bandana. Reload the save game to replay with special items, and there we go. Oh, the game just shut down, so I probably have to recapture it. There we go. Just so we have something on the screen. This is just where we get the... Oh, album. Oh, because I took that picture, yeah. I forgot about that. Oh, I can't do this with the, Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, that's it. That's Metal Gear Solid. Very, very cool. I'll say a little bit more... I'll just let this play while I'm talking. We've already seen this. But it's just something to... Actually, no, I'll play some music.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Oh, wait. No, we could do this. Perfect. That'll work. Alright. So now we have some music, and I can just talk a little bit and wrap up my thoughts on the game. So this is a game that, I grew up playing. I've already talked about that earlier on in the playthrough. It's a really special game to me. It shaped me a lot as I was growing up. It, changed a lot of my expectations for what games could be. This game was a big deal when it came out. Games were not doing this, right? Games were starting to think about doing this, but this was like the game that really put everything on the radar for having like a big blockbuster movie kind of experience with a big, intricate stories like this. Aside from that, you had like JRPGs, but it was all text-based, and you had the occasional scene, the occasional movie, but it was nothing like what we got in this game. So this just completely changed everything, right? And again, it's really special. It really holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. And it's really cool because most of us back then didn't know about Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. It was just this game came out of nowhere. So it's really nice the game gives us the recaps and everything and still ties us into those older stories. And they're still relevant. They're still important for this game. And this game has already set us up some plot threads for what could be happening in the future games, because what we just heard Ocelot saying after the credits. So that's really exciting. I'm not gonna, go into any details or spoil anything. We're gonna keep things spoiler free as we go through. But putting yourself in my position here, when I played this game when it first came out, and then it was about 4 years before Metal Gear Solid 2 came out. The change between the two games is so immense, so drastic. The step up in quality, now this goes from PlayStation to PlayStation 2, so there's a big part of it, but the change in quality was just incredible. And it really still holds up quite a bit, like a shocking amount. And I do look forward to getting to that. We're going to start that tomorrow. But to comment on this hasn't aged quite as well. To remedy that to an extent, they did a remake called The Twin Snakes on the GameCube, using the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine. And it's controversial. It changes some things. They redid the voice acting. It's a little different. So it's a little controversial, but it is a decent remake as far as I'm aware. I haven't actually played it, but it's a decent remake. And it's cool to see those scenes in The Twin Snakes with actual like proper faces and stuff on the characters, because we didn't really have that in '97. They were still working on it, right? So it's really cool to see those changes. A lot of people want a proper remake today. And there's been rumors about it for a couple of years. There's heavy rumors right now that it's actually happening and it might come out this year or whatever. Who knows? We'll see. But there's been a lot of rumors going on that we're going to get a new remake of this game. And I think that'd be really cool to see. And if it does, I'll definitely be playing it. I'd love to see like a modern, high-quality remake. But overall, the game in a lot of ways does hold up. So the gameplay is a little bit less refined. You can't do a lot of like first-person aiming and stuff. So sometimes, you know, being locked to those camera angles, it can be a little bit difficult to know what's going on. So you do have the first-person view, but it can just be a little difficult to know what's going on sometimes, or to get a good drop on somebody. And you saw me struggle with those controls a couple of times, but it's not really going to be much of an issue going through the rest of the series. Because again, the quality just increases dramatically from here. Like a shocking amount. And well, I don't want to get into like spoilery stuff, so I guess I'll just leave it at that. But I will say it was good to go back through this game. It's probably been close to 10 years since I played this the last time, so it was really fun to go back through this. And although I've watched people play it over the years since my last playthrough, it's nice to go through it again myself and get that full experience. And you saw I was really into the codec and everything. I want to get all the lore, I want to get all the backstory and everything. I don't want to let anything slip by. So I hope I did a good job with that. I really had to struggle a few times to not spoil things, to not like break things too early, because I don't know exact like moments that certain things drop as well in this game. So when I get to like Metal Gear Solid 2, I could, you know, stop playing for like a month and come back, and I know exactly where I'm at in the story. I know what's been revealed, what's not been revealed, because that's the one I've played the most. So I have some advantages there. So on here, it was like, oh wait, did I say Meryl's name too early? Did I spoil that? You know, like there were a couple moments like that where I got a little concerned, but I shouldn't have that going on as much through the rest of the series. But particularly in 2 and 4, I think we'll be in really good shape. So overall, I just want to say again, as the presentation, what they're going for here, it looks old, but it still holds up. The story is there. It's a really good story. A lot of mystery is set up from the very beginning of the game. Things with like the DARPA chief and all that set up right away. And then there's even a hint, because they give you a little flash with like Psycho Mantis and everything that kind of hints that something is up with the DARPA chief, but you don't know exactly what it is. And it's not until way later in the game you learn about Decoy Octopus and stuff. It's like, oh, yeah, of course. That all makes sense, and it was set up from the beginning, like so many other little details, and that's the kind of thing you gotta really appreciate and love about a game like this. So, with that, I don't think I really have anything else. I'll just keep rambling, and no one wants to listen to that. So, I mean, it's just me gushing over how much I love this series and love this game. But there's going to be more time to do that because there's more games, right? So we're almost 4 hours. We're 3 hours and 52 minutes right now, or actually about 53, 52, 54. So we are about 3 hours and 53 minutes in. I normally go for about 4 hours. No way that we were going to finish this up and have a reasonable time to start Metal Gear Solid 2. So we're just gonna call it here, and this is my Saturday, Sunday, 10 a.m. Central Time slot is Metal Gear Solid. We're doing the whole series. So tomorrow morning, here in about 20 hours, I will be back with Metal Gear Solid 2, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really excited. I've played that on stream a handful of times already, just early on in the stream. When I started this channel, I streamed it a few times, and I went back to it once, like 2021 or something. So I've definitely played it on stream a few times, but we're going to do another proper full playthrough. I'm going to go in with an empty save. We're not going to have any unlocks or anything. We're going to do it proper. It's going to be a good time. So that's going to be again tomorrow. As for now, let me do an outro here. Let me do a proper outro. And Rose is saying thank you for the stream, and bye. thank you for dropping in and hanging out and stuff as well. And goodbye to you. But let me do my full outro here and say thank you to anyone who showed up, whether you were lurking or chatting. We had a couple follows today. I was not as good at calling those out when they happened. I do have a thing in chat, you know, saying like, I get it. It's a big story game. Like, I will try to respond to things when I can, but I want to focus on the story. I don't want to like distract from it, talk over it about, you know, things that are not relevant to the game itself, but I do address chat when I can. I do address like the follows and stuff, so I do appreciate those couple follows and everything today. But like I said, thank you to anyone who showed up, whether you are lurking or chatting. I really appreciate it. And if you are watching this and you want to see more Metal Gear Solid, because I'm doing the whole series, or other games I have going right now, Dwarf Fortress, Caves of Cud, Genshin Impact. I also do some programming streams where I'm doing a roguelike tutorial. If you are interested in any of that, you hit that follow button to catch more of the streams and come hang out. It's a good time. You can also head over to YouTube, where these streams go up 2 weeks after they're live here on Twitch. Or otherwise, if you're watching this in the future on YouTube, congrats on being in the future. But while you're over there, if you could do all the fun YouTube stuff, you know how it works. Like, subscribe, notification bell, leave a comment. I do read and respond to my comments. I really appreciate them. So do all that fun stuff. You know how it works. Lastly, another way to see when I go live is to follow me on Twitter. I do tweet every time I go live, and that's mainly, one, it's just another way to draw more attention to the stream occasionally, but also I've had people complain in the past about Twitch notifications being very delayed by like an hour or more. I could be streaming for an hour and a half and someone drops in like, dude, I just got the notification, why? So that's another way. If you follow me on Twitter, you can see when I go live there. That's about it though. I think I've covered everything. I gushed about the game for a bit. I'm being really careful, you know, not to speak about things that are happening in future games too early. And again, I think it'll be easier for me with Metal Gear Solid 2 now. And the further we go into the series, the easier that gets as well, right? But I've been really careful about that, and that's part of the reason I don't want to keep talking right now, because I might say too much or like allude to something. So we're gonna hold off on doing that. So now that the outro's done, now that all that's done, thank you again to anyone who showed up. And until next time, have a good day, have a good night, whatever it is, wherever you're at, take it easy.
They're armed with 5.56ers and pineapples.